Hello, this is RJ City, and I am ethically opposed to any more wrestling podcasts. I don't know why you guys are talking about wrestling. It is a niche product. It is a very small industry. Yet, at this point, there's more wrestling podcasts than there are wrestlers. There is something wrong with society as a whole, but as you get smaller and smaller into wrestling, and then the wrestling podcast sphere, it gets even worse. And one such example, if I may turn on the microscope and look at the drudgery that happens to be Tru Heel Heat, SP3, Sid, this is your fault.
The following is a live reenactment of a future Joe Rogan interview with Triple H about John Cena's retirement.
So, Triple H, you got a lot of things that happened during John Cena's retirement. A lot of things that could have been done. You could have done a stadium show for him for his last matchup. You could have done all these great rivalries that a lot of people wanted to see. So, what's your answer? What's your response to all the fans complaining about the retirement tour for John Cena?
Well, Joe, did you enjoy the show? Did you enjoy the tour? All a part of the tour. This is what it's all about, man. I didn't get a retirement tour. I got a pacemaker in my chest. I didn't get to pedigree somebody one more time. I didn't get to crotch chop one more time. What does he get to do? You can't see me. And five knuckle shuffle his way to retirement. I didn't get that. He doesn't deserve that. No one deserves that. Well, let me tell you about the 3 retirement tours we're going to do next year in 2026. You know, we got a lot of great things that we're going to do. This is what we do. Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3, and welcome to Tru Heel Heat 359, Cena You Later, discussing the latest wrestling news, including how will John Cena's WWE retirement tour be remembered, and where do you put Cena in the GOAT conversation? Brock Lesnar reportedly set to join Cena in retirement next year. A recap of this week in wrestling with AEW Dynamite and Collision with Speedball versus Fletcher delivering our match of the year candidate. You had ROH, New Japan Pro Wrestling World Tag League is coming to an end tomorrow. CMLL, you had WWE SmackDown featuring Cody and Obafemi going face to face.
WWE Raw, WWE NXT Deadline, and NXT with Javon Evans' Iron Survivor win leading to Ricky Saints turning heel. Evolve, TNA Impact, plus final predictions for WWE Saturday night's main event. AEW Collision, Winter is Coming starting this afternoon, and NJPW. This happens to me every week, it seems like. Every week, the StreamYard is working against me. But to do all of that, we are going to be joined by a very special guest this week. The one and only Mekz is joining us. How you doing, Mekz of the Wresthings podcast? How you doing?
I'm well, brother. I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. We're glad to have you on. It's been too long since we had you on the show.
It has been a while, but I guess there's no better time than the time is now to have me back as we say goodbye to one of the greats of the sport. We can't deny that, despite what our feelings may be for what he's given us as an in-ring product, as a farewell tour. He is definitely one of the greats. John Cena, we bid a farewell today.
Absolutely. It is John Cena retirement day. And of course, we are joined by my good brother himself, the Tru Draw Josh. How are you feeling?
You mentioned about something about Brock Lesnar retiring next year. That's one guy I definitely won't miss.
We got to talk about the different ends of the spectrum. As Power Driver Finisher in our chat says, he is one of the wrestlers of all time. Brock Lesnar. He's one of them. He is one of them. He's one of the wrestlers of all time. We appreciate y'all for joining us live. We appreciate y'all for watching us on demand. Either way, show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on this video. You can share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, you can sound off in the comment section if you're watching us on demand. If you're with us live, sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys, hear your thoughts. And most of all, the one thing we want you to do, put in the chat, how are you going to remember the John Cena retirement tour? Or you could put on your favorite John Cena moment. We want to thank you all for your support that you gave us for our top 10 John Cena moments video that we posted up last night ahead of the retirement matchup. And of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you could send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to contributors that you see on screen with us here. And we always appreciate your support. Mekz, we have not had you on in such a long time. How is everything in the UK? How is the Wresthings podcast? I actually watched you guys one of your latest videos from your last podcast for your draft of the best men's wrestlers of 2025. You won. Just want to let you know.
Thank you.
You picked the wrestler of the year. You picked Hangman, and the fact that you were the fourth pick, and you got the best wrestler of the bunch. I was like, next one. It's over. I don't need to see any of his other picks. He picked Hangman number one in the fourth spot. That's like a steal. That's like Luka Doncic, Steph Curry dropping in the draft. Like you paid off. That was great.
I got Hangman. I got Moxley in my first draft and second draft. So I thought, that's a pretty strong way to go. But otherwise, brother, we've been doing well. It's very cold here in the UK. So I'm sure you escaped at the right time. We're just doing our tier rankings now over on the Wrestling's channel. So we're ranking up everything to kind of round off the year. So this week on Monday, we'll be dropping John Cena's greatest moments and matches of all time. A lot of controversy, as always, with the tier rankings to see where those landed. And then the following week, we've got Women of the Year, Men of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, and Freshman of the Year. So, a lot of cool content coming out, as well as the podcast over the next few weeks.
All I know is this is my advice to anyone on the Wrestling's cast for Freshman of the Year. Someone better buy high for Kendall Gray. I got my Kendall Gray stocks. I'm selling them all. I had all the stock. I bought them all. Once I saw her in Evolve and I saw that spear, I was like, she got a better spear than a WrestleMania main eventer. I'm riding this train right here. And it's paid off. It's paid off for me So that's my advice to y'all.
That lady, she's very special. Yeah, I saw her on the thumbnail. I'm sure we're gonna chat about her. She's very special. There is something about her for sure.
Nice. But yes, we are here because it is John Cena's retirement tour day. We're gonna talk some AEW with Mekz, but we gotta get your thoughts on the John Cena retirement tour. And we're gonna ask the chat as well. We already got in the chat with us Zach Minger, who says National Cocoa Day and National Cream Cheese Frosting Day. SP3, Josh, and Mekz. You're very pleased by this day, aren't you, Josh?
He's making this shit up. Like, there's no way like this is a real day.
Maybe. I don't know. We got hey THH fam from Eric Isaacs, who says, well, the day has finally come as we say goodbye to the GOAT, John Cena. Thanks for the memories, Doctor of Thugonomics, Word Life. And we got a super chat donation from our one and only Negro Buck, Nick Jackson, who says, little something for the pot. Celebrating Cena's retirement and my birthday this weekend. Lots of emotions. LOL. Happy birthday to you, Negro Buck. And thank you so much for the super chat donation. And I hope you celebrate your birthday the right way, wearing a John Cena cap as you say goodbye to one of the greats, the all-time greats. But the question that I have for the chat, the question that I have for Mekz, what is your favorite or best John Cena moment? Me and Josh, we gave our top 10. I want to know from you. What's the moment that you will remember from John Cena's entire career?
I have my John Cena relationship is very weird. Like Dr. Thugonomics.
Explain.
Dr. Thugonomics was my guy. And when he went PG, I lost interest. I think that's probably more so when I started kind of discovering indie wrestling a bit more and just thinking, yeah, this WWE stuff in general is not it. He kind of won me back around with the Open Challenge. I love the Open Challenge back in 2015. And then obviously he's done good stuff here and there, like the Firefly Funhouse stuff here and there. Like I acknowledge his star and what he's done for this business and the gravitas of, I think more and more day by day as we've got to today, I've acknowledged the gravitas of this retirement, what it actually means, because he is absolutely a huge star and just more so than what he's done in wrestling, just like the Make-A-Wish stuff and, just how much of a good person he appears to be. My favorite moment for John Cena is probably like him winning the US title against Big Show. As Dr. Thugonomics, like that first championship win and getting to that point, like that's probably one of my most fond memories of John Cena. And they kind of told a story that could he lift Big Show and all of that stuff. Yeah. He still cheated to win. That's probably it, to be honest.
Yeah, we're very similar because that's what I talked about in the Moments video. Like Doctor of Thugonomics, that kept me intact with WWE. I was like, that character was the thing that you kind of latched onto after the Attitude Era. And I was saying everybody, I was like, he's very Rock coded. Rock was the cool heel in the Attitude Era that you knew was going to be this big baby face. Yeah. And that was Cena in 2003. And with the Doctor of Thugonomics character, you're like, this guy's going to be a huge baby face because you heard the fans always finishing the raps. Suck my dick. It used to always be like that. That connection he was building during that time was just so organic, and it was a groundswell where it happened. I tell the story, me and Jimmy, who I do the AEW review on the channel with, we were friends from high school, and his guy was Batista, my guy was Cena, and I was like, Cena's gonna be the guy. Cena's gonna be the one to be the number one guy. He was for Batista because Batista was this unmatched coolness in 2005. So I understood why, but I was like, Cena's just got it. He's just marketable, and he was the guy that they needed at that time to kind of. He had the run where he was kind of very similar with the Edge to Austin and Rock, but his prime years on top is him as the Hogan of this generation.
Yeah, for sure. And he done a good job. Like I say, I can never doubt that he didn't do a good job. And even the company went through a transition of what the overall product was. He was a good face for the company. A lot of fans then obviously picked their side. You either let's go Cena or Cena sucks or whatever the case is. I will never fault him. And more so, and I guess we'll probably get into, you know, the state of his farewell tour. It's probably because of what we've seen and heard a lot of this past week with all the interviews he's done. He's too much of a yes man. Like, he clearly didn't put down his foot like other wrestlers did and said, no, I want things like this. I want things my way. We're doing it this way or else. Like, everything was just yes. Let's do that. That's fine. Like, I think he said in the Chris Van Vliet interview, I'm often the last one to know things because I'm just going to agree anyway. Like, I say, yeah, let's do it. So it comes with, you know, it's pros and cons. You're easy to work with for sure. But at the same time, it's like, especially in this last year, we could have made things probably better if you say no to a couple things and, you know, make sure you pull the strings here and there. But yeah, he's, you know, no one has a bad word in the industry really to say about Cena, even those that, you know, come out and put their green screen behind and say that he buried me and all of this kind of stuff. Like, it's, yeah, he's the guy, man. Honestly, Cena's the guy.
Yeah, like, this is like, we got to see one of like the greatest careers in WWE history, and like you said, you were a fan of Dr. Thuganomics, so you got to see it from the beginning. Like me and Josh, like it makes you feel old. I will say, seeing John Cena, seeing and realizing that I've seen his entire career and he's retiring, and I'm like, damn, I'm old. I'm really getting up there. This is like, I'm like seeing my own mortality in this whole thing. But I like the fact that most of the moments that I'm seeing in the chat, we mentioned a bunch of them in our video, Josh. But me and Josh, we both had as the best moment the 2008 Royal Rumble return. Because that's like I feel like that's the one that's like iconic because of who he became known as. This guy that just had the superhuman recovery. He would get injured in October, be back by January, and he did it multiple times throughout his career. And like someone like a Seth Rollins, he'll get those comparisons to John Cena because John Cena set that standard of coming back very fast from injuries.
Yeah. He done a really good job with that one. And just as a moment for him to just walk out, what was that, number 30 in that Rumble, Triple H's face and everything, hit the little pose and, you know, the crowd going wild. And then he wins that Rumble as well, if I remember correctly. Like, yeah, that definitely is up there as a top moment.
Yeah, just the look on Triple H's face and then Madison Square Garden forgetting that they hated John Cena is just like that like checks all the boxes. You got his relationship with the fans, you got his superhuman recovery, you got this very much like how he comes out is very much the bravado of the Doctor of Thuganomics. Like
yeah. Definitely.
That was very much all of it right there. We got a super chat donation from our boy Valab saying, hustle, loyalty, respect. Well, respect from me because WWE doesn't seem to respect John Felix Anthony Cena with how this retirement run has been. So I will start with Josh and then we'll go back to Mekz. We'll ask the question now. We'll put it out front. How will John Cena's retirement run in WWE be remembered?
At least for me, I would say probably more of a miss than a hit. Just because creatively, there's a lot of directions that they went that, you know, it didn't pan out well. Obviously, the biggest one and probably the biggest fumble this year for WWE was Cena's heel turn. You know, the fact that we had such a big moment, the moment itself was great. And then the follow-up, we had like an all-time downhill kind of blunder when it comes to the rest of his run. You know, it even got to a point that even the night before SummerSlam, he just went back babyface because that's how bad it was. You know, I think that's where it will be remembered. You know, because I think a lot of us had a vision and of his retirement run, and we really didn't. We kind of gotten that, but then we really didn't. You know, the fact that they, you know, after I saw that interview with John Cena, apparently a lot of his matches were pivoted. So I mean, it kind of even tells you like what, like this dude, like they had a whole year to plan and they didn't plan at all. That's what that tells me. That the fact that you had to do that so many times and, you know, he had to lobby certain people to work with just so we could actually get it. You know, like we almost didn't get AJ Styles and him like for our last time. We almost didn't get that. And I think that's where I'm going to remember that as.
Yeah, that Cena interview, I was just like, God damn, it would have been nice if WWE actually planned out his retirement tour and it wasn't like 90% pivots. That's what he basically described in that interview. Mekz, how will John Cena's retirement tour be remembered by you? I got to talk to you at the beginning when we were both like, yeah, you should turn heel. And now in retrospect, we were both wrong because that did not because of this company and because of the writing. I don't blame Cena. I don't blame Rock. People want to blame Rock. Rock had the good idea. Turn Cody heel. That in retrospect, that was the right idea. That was the right idea. And Triple H was wrong with that pivot. But what is your overall, how you're going to be remembering this year from John Cena?
Yeah, not very well. I've been saying for the last few years, I guess, like right now, in a respectful way, AEW seems like to be the destination. If you're an elder statesman about to call it a day in your career, that's probably where you should go to have a really nice, you know, not over pushed or anything like that, but a really nice way to exit the business, really respectful way. And WWE had a massive opportunity here. They basically squandered Goldberg's one. But there'll always be, you know, the underlying, he's a WCW guy with that one. So you could say, okay, fair enough. But with John Cena, if you cannot get John Cena right, then these big three that they're planning next year, I don't know what hope they have, really, because I know John Cena has the difficulty of the dates that they had to work around. But, bro, John Cena came out, last year and said, I'm retiring. So from then, you have the dates. You know the dates up front. You know where he's going to be, where he's available and everything like that. All Triple H had to do is get 2 to 3 writers and say exclusively, this is your job. Don't worry about nothing else for the next year. You 2 or 3 people, you go and book this from start to end. Obviously, the stories will get pushed up to myself, Paul Heyman, whomsoever, and we will kind of overlook it. But it should have been a specific 2 or 3 people's job to book this from start to end with the dates that they were given. Now, I think the 2 main things, of course, the heel turn just didn't work, right? We talked about him turning heel. I still stand by a heel turn could have worked, but not the way they done it. Like, I always felt like, right, he's more than likely going to win number 17. The heel turn should come as a bit of desperation to try to win 17, not just the whole, you're right, I'm turning heel because I'm selling my soul and all of this kind of nonsense. Like, this should have been, you know, right, he loses at the Rumble, he loses at Elimination Chamber. The desperation turns him like, I need to become like a bad guy to win this title. He wins the title, he remains a bad guy because he needs to hold on to it. And all of this stuff around, you know, hating the fans and all of this nonsense, just chop it out. Like, we're not kids, we don't need all of that stuff. Just say, you know, I just believe I'm the best, I need this, I need to go home, I made this what it is, I don't know, I don't trust this in anyone's hands, you know. Like, I just feel like you could have just told a much more natural story of someone that was struggling with detaching themselves from being John Cena, the WWE superstar. Like, that's what this really should have been, like, as opposed to I'm an all-up bad guy sort of thing. This is should have been someone struggling with coming to the terms of that they have to retire at the end of this year. But yeah, they told a completely different story. They then, you know, like Josh said, stuck their hands up the week before SummerSlam or the day before SummerSlam and said, "Oh, haha, it's all a joke. I really love wrestling. Trust me, guys." And, you know, like, it might as well just have been on, what's that show called, WWE Unreal or whatever. The way they just kind of blew up the business right there and then, sort of thing. And yeah, I've never seen anything like it. Like, if John Cena can't get the best retirement year ever, I just don't know how anyone else will. But yeah, I think the WWE will do WWE. They'll cut a load of this out of the vignettes. We'll have a vignette that, you know, has him winning the WWE Championship for the 17th time. And I think November, the tournament stuff will be heavy in the vignette as well, because that has been relatively good. We can obviously have our quips about the people involved in the tournament and who it should have been and who shouldn't be there. But yeah, they will turn his retirement year pictorially or visually into him winning the title and him saying that this tournament needs to kind of bring forward the next, era sort of thing. And everything has to be chopped out.
They'll highlight the heel run because there's the moments. They have moments in the heel run. They have the heel turn. They got the Belgian kid. They got the promo with Cena and Cody in London. They got him winning number 17. They got him and the stuff with R-Truth. They even showed it on the other day on SmackDown. They showed that R-Truth stuff.
But they didn't show the context of it. They just showed him and R-Truth
exactly.
That's what I mean. They'll
show him and Punk going at it again after.
They'll cut out what they want to and just make it look like these are just feuds he had with people, and the whole heel turn never really happened. And they are fantastic at producing vignettes and stuff like that. They are gonna make this look like it was the best retirement year of all time. But those that were here present and watched it, we know this is video tricks. This is going to be Premiere Pro or Final Cut at its best. They are going to go to work on this last year visually.
We lived through it. There were so many mistakes on this retirement tour. I mean, for mistake number one, he probably should have won the Royal Rumble because Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. And what did that amount to? A world title win, a main event push for 50 days. Then he lost the world title. Was Roman second for a couple of months, then went through a conflict of conscience, and then that conflict of conscience got him right back into the tag team division by the end of the year. So that amounted to nothing. So we should have probably just let Cena win the Rumble. Should have just done a babyface versus babyface matchup between John Cena and Cody Rhodes. You probably should have listened to The Rock and turned Cody instead of John Cena, because the main issue, that's going to be the key to this all. Regardless of me feeling like the heel turn itself in a vacuum, it's one of the greatest heel turns of all time. But it was so against what the fans were giving them, what Cena was giving them for all this time. People have not really talked about how important two moments were in John Cena's last couple of years. The Firefly Funhouse completely broke down the idea of John Cena being this all-time great character, and it addressed stuff that he should have done or mistakes that he's made throughout his career, and it totally broke down that character to the point that he needed to be off for a year and a half. And then when he came back, the second moment is the return at Money in the Bank 2021, when he got one of the biggest pops he's ever gotten. And from that moment on, the fans just said, "We love you, John Cena." There was no more from the US title open to the Firefly Funhouse. There was kind of more cheers than boos because of how hard he was working in the US Open Challenge, in the AJ Styles feud and stuff like that. But he still won the AJ Styles feud at the end. So there was still those certain section of fans that still was booing John Cena. After the Firefly Funhouse and he came back, no one was booing him. So why turn him heel at that point? You tried for 15 years to get the people to cheer this guy unanimously, and they finally did it. And on his last year, you're turning him heel. That is beyond dumb. That is you feeling like you can do it all. I can make this work. Oh, Cody turned heel. No. Cody's my top guy. Cody's going to be here for a few years. I can milk that. I can get a lot of merchandise money out of that. No. Let's turn John Cena heel. He's only here for a year. It's going to be shocking. We got to make Elimination Chamber big. That's what we should do. Yeah, that's what we should do. But that intentionally was so wrong because the fans had accepted John Cena, and then you just are fighting against them this whole time. The heel run is always going to be defined by the fans not really accepting that he's a heel and cheering him like he's the hero that's leaving, because he's the hero that's leaving.
It's true. Like I said, I think you have to be smarter when you're planning these things with the crowd, with the knowledge that we have as an audience these days with the internet, this, that, and the other. It can't just be, that kind of harsh turn. The turn itself, fantastic moment, yeah. But then for him to come out immediately after, well delivered promo, as Cena will always do, but the fans, you don't deserve this, you don't deserve that, you don't cheer my name. What are you talking about?
You're 100% right, because you said that even before he turned heel, that the whole reasoning should have been that he's been on this losing streak. He's become desperate. He's leaving.
Yeah.
He wants that one more accolade. He wants to have the name in the record books, and he's desperate. And we never got that promo. We never got that promo. It just was, you fans were always against me. And it's like, dude, they loved you for the last couple of years. Like, what are you talking about?
Even was it the promo that he cut after Rumble at the press conference thing where he declared himself for Elimination Chamber?
Yes.
Like, you had the seeds there of a man that was like, no, I'm just putting myself into this match now because after all these years, I deserve it. He said something to that effect. And I was like, even though I don't think that was anything to do with anything from what we now know, that was a brilliant way to kind of start the beginnings of a man that says, right, I'm running out of time now and I'm running out of options. I'm putting myself in here because I've got that stroke. I'm doing it, sort of thing. They could have started to play on that. Like, I'm really disappointed by what this year turned out to be, even down to the tournament, right? The last time is now tournament, where they declared they're having a tournament. Cool. All right. I think Wrestling Observer had come out weeks before, said that Gunther's going to be the last guy anyway. They declared having a tournament. Then, like 2 weeks, the tournament had begun when John Cena then came out and said, you know, all this heavily coded NXT stuff. NXT are going to feature heavily at Saturday Night Main Event, this, that, and the other. So, in my mind, why didn't you, when you done the tournament vignette, basically say, right, this tournament is going to be made up of, let's say, 8 NXT names because we want to push the future, and then 8 names on the main roster of people that have never won a world title. So, you know, people that are kind of trying to get to that next level. Those are names that should be there, really and truly, and that can make some good matchups. Like, they just announced that halfway through, you know, gave us Javon Evans and stuff last minute, which was all nice, but it's just like, do you guys plan any of this? Like you just make it up week to week as the show is about to go live, seemingly. Then you just say, oh, that'll be a good idea. Let's spit this out. Like, a lot could have even been done better with the tournament, even if Gunther was going to be the last guy, you know. And mind you, Gunther's performance throughout the tournament was excellent. Like, absolutely.
He was the highlight of the tour. He had the 4 best matches.
He is the guy, and he's the guy that deserves to get there because of the way he performed in the tournament. But, like, yeah, just everything they've done, from the heel turn to the championship win to the just straight up admission of this was just for a pop. We never had a plan afterwards. I'm a babyface now. Like,
that whole thing was just like, oh man, this is just making it worse. And you're 100% right with your other point with the Rock whole situation. If Rock tells you he's not going to be at WrestleMania, why didn't Cena ever say, this had nothing to do with the Rock? That would have cleared them from everything. Cleared it from The Rock being this dark cloud over the whole build to WrestleMania and the WrestleMania matchup. You could have cleared it up by Cena in his first promo being like, oh, you guys think I sold my soul to The Rock? I didn't sell my soul to anyone. I took back my soul. I'm doing this for me. I'm desperate. I haven't won a world championship in how many years? I haven't won a singles match in how many years? I did this for me. I stood with The Rock and Travis Scott because they were against Cody Rhodes, and I'm against Cody Rhodes because I'm taking the WWE championship from him. Simple, to the point, and you just completely write off Rock and Travis Scott. But no, we had to let that hang. And then with the tournament, you could have done the NXT versus main roster, or one thing you could have done to set it up is people on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT the week before that Saturday night's main event where he makes the announcement for the tournament. You have multiple people cut backstage promos saying, I want to face John Cena in this last matchup. So there, you create the image of everyone wants this last matchup. Thus, that's why John Cena is having, like, the tournament just came out of thin air.
No way.
It was not set up at all. It was just an idea, and then boom, poof.
The tournament basically came out of the dirt sheets. because we saw it all in the dirt sheets, and then the next thing is WWE announced it. So yeah, there definitely should have been some clamor, like you're saying, people just having one-to-ones with Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce. Like, oh, who's facing John Cena? Who's having the last match? Can I get that last match? Can I get that spot? Someone else overhears it. No, I think that should be me. Blah blah. Like, yeah, you're right. Like there was nothing until the tournament was declared and some names were there, and then even then. Only a couple of people I remember doing vignettes of saying I should win and stuff like that. There wasn't like this large clamor of even those in the tournament still wanting. Like Jey Uso was just chasing the world title. I think he had the match with Punk, and then the next week he was fighting for John Cena. What are we doing here? Like, do you want the world championship or do you want John Cena's jorts? Which one? Like, it makes no sense.
Yo, it's very haphazardly put together, but we're going to talk more about the retirement tour throughout today's show. But we also got to shout out you guys that are supporting us across social media and around our Patreon page as well with our Tru Heel roll call. Our top 3 conversation starters on our Tru Heels group page. We got Jermaine Packman, Joe Bellini, Stewie John Palmer, and our Patreon backers. We got Vala, Negro Bucknick Jackson, Professor Chris, Trey, Robert, Steve, Ladarius, John, Dolores, James, Allen, Santo, Justin Rich, and Chuck Berries. Thank you so much for supporting us over at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. That is our Tru Heel roll call. We'll talk more about John Cena when we get to WWE, but let's talk about what we missed this week. And we'll start off with AEW because we had AEW Collision last Saturday. And the big show this Wednesday was AEW Dynamite. Winter is coming. Last Saturday, we had the Collision with the Continental Classic continuing as Orange Cassidy picked up a win over Roderick Strong in a very good matchup between the Paragon and Conglomeration Alliance members, while Masquerade Dorada pulled off a massive upset over Claudio Castagnoli of the Death Riders in a great styles clash for both OC and Dorada to earn 3 points in the Blue League of the Continental Classic. Ricochet beat Ace Austin in a solid bout to retain the AEW National Championship. Mercedes Moné scored a victory over Layla Gray to retain the TBS title, while you had as she rebounded from her loss against Red Velvet at ROH Final Battle. FTR and the Bang Bang Gang had another very good promo exchange, with Bang Bang Gang looking for a title opportunity in the UK. Swerve Strickland had himself an in-ring promo where he spoke about his return at Full Gear, Samoa Joe and the Ops running roughshod, and his unlikely alliance with Hangman Adam Page. This led to Josh Alexander interrupting to remind Swerve that it was the Don Callis family who took him out, and he wants an AEW World title shot before Strickland. This led to Swerve challenging Alexander for today's AEW Collision Winter is Coming, which was accepted. However, Katsuyori Shibata attacked Swerve in his surgically repaired knee. And finally, Konosuke Takeshita beat Jon Moxley in an absolutely tremendous main event to earn 3 points in the Blue League of the Continental Classic. This one, I watched this and I immediately was like, that is the new match of the tournament. That is the best match from the C2 so far. And that lasted for about 4 days because we had AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming this past Wednesday. They did over 500,000 viewers. The show featured the Babes of Wrath defeating the Timeless Love Bombs in a very good opener to become the first ever AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. Post-match, all 4 women showed respect to one another. Then you had Kazuchika Okada beat Jack Perry in a surprisingly good, very good matchup to earn 3 points in the Gold League of the C2, with Jack Perry taking a bite out of crime. Post-match, Don Callis offered Perry a spot in the Don Callis family, as well as some of the Young Bucks $1 million that they won at Full Gear. This led to Perry turning it down, but he was then attacked by the group until Luchasaurus and the Young Bucks came out and made the save, got back their $1 million after Callis gave it to them. They also delivered a BTE trigger to their former friend and elite member, Kazuchika Okada. They were about to hit a double super kick on Callis as he was left alone in the ring with the baby faces until Konosuke Takeshita made the save for the leader of the Don Callis family. This all led to Callis making a challenge to the Bucks and a mystery partner to face his Don Callis family next week in Manchester, England, to determine who owns the $1 million. And of course, the Young Bucks chose Kenny by God Omega. So next week at Holiday Bash, it will be Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks finally reuniting the elite as they will face the Don Callis families, Okada, Takeshita, and Hechicero. Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page, they picked up a victory over the Ops in a fun tornado tag team matchup on the show. Meanwhile, you had Stokely Hathaway. He had a very good promo where he talked about the matchup for next week on Holiday Bash is going to be FTR and the Bang Bang Gang for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. And Samoa Joe beat Eddie Kingston in a splendid hoss fight where they beat the crap out of each other to retain the AEW World Championship. Speedball Mike Bayley and Kyle Fletcher, though, they were the story of Wednesday because they went out here and didn't just have the best match of the C2 this year. They probably had the best C2 matchup ever in an absolutely sensational encounter that had to be one of the best bouts in AEW this year, probably one of the best TV matches in all of wrestling. Speedball really elevating himself as he picked up the last-minute victory over the former TNT champion to earn his first 3 points in the Gold League of the Continental Classic. Mekz, we'll start with you. What did you think about this week's AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming, and specifically that Speedball and Fletcher matchup, and just overall thoughts on this year's C2?
C2 is the most wonderful time of the year, as they say. Like, it's just good TV because you just know every week, match for match, what you're getting, the quality of matches you're going to get. Even having said that, I didn't expect Kyle Fletcher versus Speedball Mike Bayley and what we got from that. Mike Bayley is someone that has had great matches over the last couple of years, and he's come to AEW and practically from the jump been put straight in a tag team, which him and Kevin Knight have been brilliant in a tag team as well. I think the fans of Mike Bayley before he was in AEW have been waiting for this moment. They've been waiting for him to almost break out and have this fantastic singles match. And it's he came to AEW in March, April this year, something like that. It's taken right till December for us to get this moment, but my God, was it worth it? Like you said, not just probably, best match of this C2, best C2 match of all time, probably the best TV match of the year, like you said. And yeah, Speedball's, he's like, welcome, you finally arrived, sort of thing. With Kyle Fletcher, this is becoming like a normal day in the office at this point, sort of thing. He's a different level. Like, that boy is a main eventer in waiting in AEW. Like, honestly, a world champion in waiting. Really good show from top to bottom. Really loved the world championship match. Babes of Wrath have done so well in this run to the final and winning it. I didn't see it personally. I thought it would be Timeless Love Bombs that would probably be the inaugural champions. I think from top to bottom, it was a really fun winter is coming.
Yeah, this was one of the better Dynamite episodes of the year for me personally. And like I said, that Speedball Fletcher matchup, I was blown away. Like, I knew that would be good, especially when they were in, like, I saw the block, the Gold League. I was like, Gold League's going to have some of the best matches of this entire tournament because it's just a banger block. They had no misses when they had Darby Allin in there. Now it's kind of a miss with Jack Perry, but Jack Perry was great in this matchup against Okada. I thought he was more of like Jungle Boy in that matchup than Jack Perry. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Josh.
he was good.
Yeah. Josh, what did you think about Winter is Coming?
It was a great episode. You know, I was surprised with the winners of the women's tag, which I'm not mad at. I just didn't think they would go with that team, but I honestly think they went with the right call, especially how the fans reacted. And you know, I wanted something for Willow, at least, you know, and she finally got something, you know, which could lead to even probably better things down the road for her. So I was happy about that. And then, like you said, the freaking C2, like damn, like I mean, I already knew we were gonna get great matches, but like damn, you're talking about like pay-per-view quality matches we've been getting on TV. I know a certain wrestler that's not gonna be happy about that, but besides that, Jack Perry versus Okada was pretty fun. It was better than I expected. I had low expectations. More so because of Jack, not because of Okada. But that was actually a great match. And then you're talking about, and then freaking Speedball, and freaking Kyle Fletcher, like, damn, that was something. When it just kept going, I was like, damn, like, holy shit. Like, man, both guys killed it, man. This is the reason why they signed Speedball, you know, like, because he could give performances like this, you know. And, you know, even though we've seen great stuff from him, I think, but by far, like, this is like, it kind of feels like his moment, like, you know, like, I do feel the same way about that. And then we had the main event. The match was better than I expected too, because, you know, like, we haven't seen Eddie Kingston at his best. And I felt like they played to both guys' strengths very strong. It was just a house fight. That's where you really needed it to be. And I felt like they did that very well. But overall, it was a fun episode.
Yeah, that felt like a bona fide Eddie Kingston performance. Like, he was gritty. He fought from underneath. He had the fans rallying behind him. I loved it. And I agree with Mekz and Josh. Like, the Babes of Wrath winning, I was definitely surprised by that. I was like, in like 50-50 going into the matchup, because they did have a ton of momentum and I could see them winning, but I still believe that the Timeless Love Bombs was going to win. But it felt like kind of like how I described the Hangman win against Will Ospreay in the Owen Hart final, where I wanted Will Ospreay to win, but Hangman winning surprised me and pleased me all at the same time, in a way that probably Will winning wouldn't have done that to me. And I feel the same about Babes of Wrath, because Willow needed a championship win this year. She had so many championship wins last year with the NJPW Strong Women's Championship and the CMLL Women's Championship and the TBS title. She needed a championship win to close out this year. And Harley Cameron is up there as far as like most improved wrestlers. And just pure entertainment. She's one of the funniest wrestlers as well, with that whole program she had with Mercedes Moné. I love the fact she was kind of rewarded by the end of the year. That's really cool. So definitely a 10 out of 10 as far as like all the big moments and big matches that they had on Winter is Coming this week. What I wanted to ask to you though, Josh, with this matchup with Speedball and Fletcher, would you say this year's Continental Classic is already better than last year's?
That's a good question. I would say so, probably. Just because I think this year you've seen the quality of the matches amp up, especially certain guys that you have. You have Kevin Knight, who stepped up in this tournament. You know, and then you have the matches that we got on Wednesday. You know, it only makes me think like, damn, what if Darby was still there? Like, you know, because he's also a great performer. So I would say so. And then, you know, they kind of kept up the when it comes to what do you call that? When it comes to the unpredictability of these matches, they've kind of kept that too, because I thought Fletcher was gonna win, honestly, but the fact they gave it to Speedball, I was like, oh shit, you see? That's how you make tournaments mean something. That's how, you know, if you want this kind of style of tournaments where you get points, you have to make it suspense. Like, you know, you have to give that suspense of anybody could win it. And I've liked the fact that they've kept that trend.
Yeah, and I gotta send praise to Moxley and Takeshita, because that match was tremendous. I love that matchup. It just had that big fight feel from the very beginning because it was in Columbus, Ohio, which is close to Moxley's hometown. They had the fans getting behind Moxley. You had Moxley with an actual kind of like babyface comeback, and then the great sells of the knee was amazing. Moxley running the ropes, and then he just collapsed on his knee, and then Takeshita kills him with the power drive knee. I was like, yes, this is awesome. And then Takeshita wins in the end. I was like, oh man, this was the best match of the C2. I had no idea I was going to see something even on a higher level than that just a couple of days later. But gotta give love to Moxley and Takeshita.
The level of the tournament just raises every single year because of the amount of wrestling we get. There's probably even very little from last year and the first year that I can remember. But yeah, like you can just know it's just getting better. Now everyone is trying to kind of steal that spotlight and put on these phenomenal matches. Yeah, I mean, it's where the best wrestle, right? So yeah. It makes sense.
I want to ask you the same thing I asked Josh. Do you think this year's C2 is already better than last year's? Because last year it was great. Because I do remember the Ospreay matches mainly, but Ospreay and Darby had that killer matchup at Holiday Bash. Ospreay and Fletcher in the semifinals, and then Ospreay and Okada in the finals. That's a high bar to set, but I don't remember the two previous C2s having a match this great this early. Those matches that I just named happened late into the tournament. This is early on in the tournament to have a match of the year candidate.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there was any of this quality in the second round, basically, the third round. I think what's more intriguing for me personally is the amount of stories we have. I think overall we can probably see this is heading to maybe an Okada Takeshita final, possibly. But I think just in general, having stories running within the C2 this early on as well, you know, the Death Rider stuff was great as well. Moxley and Claudio last week or 2 weeks ago, was it now? Yeah, I think they're just more and more. They're just really knowing how to book this better and better. The situation around the title, the Continental Classic title itself, is still something that, in my opinion, I know Don Callis tried his hardest on TV to make sense of it all.
He did not. He just said,
tried.
I'm going to take the heat. I'm going to take the heat for this, and I'm going to say it's my decision of why it's only the Continental title. But it did not answer any of our questions.
It didn't, but he tried. They tried to do something, and it didn't work. So I still don't understand, basically, you know, why they separated it, why they unified it. Like it's just a mess. It's really just a bit of a mess. But yeah, that's the only thing I'll say around this tournament that really needs to be tidied up. The tournament itself is fantastic. Like, and that's been from day one, the first ever one, till now. It's a proper tournament. It's like I said, it's my favorite AEW time of the year.
And they've just created like this, especially over the last week, with Dorada beating Claudio, with Claudio beating Moxley, and then with Speedball beating Fletcher. You don't know who's going to win these matches. It makes it much more kind of like compelling on that level. It's very much like a sports story that they're telling in these matches. And I think that's what made Fletcher and Speedball like this special kind of matchup. And yeah, you were absolutely right about Kyle Fletcher. Like, he needs to be AEW World Champion next year. Like we've gone past the, oh, I hope. No, he needs to be the AEW World Champion, or you need to lay out the plan of Ospreay wins and he's the guy that's going to dethrone Ospreay, or he wins and Ospreay dethrones him. You can do it either way, but we know that has to be the matchup where the AEW World Championship is being traded between the two of them.
Yeah, maybe that's exactly it. So maybe it won't be till about 2027, because I'm pretty sure Ospreay probably wins the world title at Wembley next year.
Definitely. I don't even think you should put probably. I think that's like if he's back in the beginning of the year, he's winning the Owen, he's going to Wembley, he's winning at Wembley.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe then you line up for either later next year or early 2027 for Fletcher to beat Ospreay for the title. Makes sense.
Yeah. We got another super chat donation here from Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries, for the support. He says, I loved how on commentary, Don blurted out, "That's ridiculous," responding to Shivani. And then Tony said, "Do it again," which has to be some sort of violation. LOL. I mean, they always kind of clowning Tony Schiavone on commentary because he probably shouldn't be there. He should just be on Collision.
He should be clowned.
Very true. He deserves it. We got a bunch of love for Winter is Coming here in the chat. I Make Beats showing some love to the Mercedes and Red Velvet from last week. He said, I watched it 3 times. What a match. I wanted to bring up that as well, because that's another one we're gonna, we're finishing up with the C2 at the end of this year, but there's like cool stories that we can see unfold, like we just talked about with Osprey and Fletcher. What do you think about the Mercedes downfall being one of kind of the more anticipated storylines going into 2026 for AEW?
Yeah, I love this personally. I'm a fan of, like, there is some controversy around her winning all these belts and stuff like that, and what does it really mean for me? And but I think her holding the AEW Women's Championship alongside these belts isn't a good look for the AEW Women's Championship belt. I actually like the fact that, right, I've won, all of these belts, and I've gone after Tony, and I can't win this one. And I've won probably another 5 belts, and I've gone to Chris Statlander, and I still can't win it, sort of thing. It really puts the AEW Women's Championship on a pedestal that it's a level she just cannot obtain. So now she's got all these titles. The match with Red Velvet, where she lost the TV title, was very good. And then obviously she beat Layla Gray to retain the TBS one. But then, yeah, I hope she continues to lose these. I think maybe Wembley is her stage as well, where by then she would have lost a load of these, and then she maybe wins the AEW Women's Championship at Wembley. She's got Riho for the Rev Pro title tomorrow. I'm pretty sure Riho should beat her for that. And then we know we're cooking. We know we're moving in the right direction if that happens.
So we're down to 11 going into 2026. Let's go.
Exactly that. But it's been good. Like, I can definitely see how it's benefited the women. I'm actually still not really happy with her overall presentation in AEW. She really does feel like a visitor, like a guest that just come here, wrestles great matches, but then she's really not like embedded enough into the division and into just TV. Like, a lot of promos backstage of Renee. People will say that's maybe because of her promo ability, but yeah, I just feel like I want her to be part of the fabric a bit more, and she doesn't feel like she's part of the fabric right now.
Yeah, she can interact with some of the roster more, and I did take note that outside of like her AEW Women's World Title feuds with Toni Storm and Chris Statlander, she has not had a feud over the TBS title in
since
Harley Cameron in February. Like an actual feud. She's faced people at pay-per-views, Momo Watanabe and Rio, and then she did the 4-way at Forbidden Door, but over the TBS title, she's had no feud since Harley.
Yeah, it's not good enough, to be honest. Let's be honest, it's not.
I agree, but she has an argument for being the Women's Wrestler of the Year because she's had this amazing year, and the fact that they do book her in this way, it does separate her where she feels as big or bigger than any other woman on the roster. Yeah,
I think like the CEO thing, I don't want to kind of get too granular into it. It is just a moniker sort of thing, but I feel like there's even so much they could have done with that in the beginning when they rolled her out into AEW. In hindsight, I know it's probably come to a bit of nothing now, so maybe this isn't correct. But at the time, I wanted her to join the Bucks and Okada in that heel elite faction, because I thought as a CEO with the what were they calling themselves? The EVPs, right? Like, that would have just all worked. It would have just worked. You know, the EVPs have got rid of Kenny and Hangman and all these other people, and they've went and brought in these 2 world-class free agents in Okada and and Mercedes Moné. But it didn't work, and it didn't work for the overall faction. So maybe, yeah, it was best she avoided it. But in avoiding it, she hasn't felt like she's part of AEW. More and more so, yeah, she does. But there's just times where it just goes a bit quiet, and she's just not around. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, you are onto something, because yeah, there is kind of like this disconnect there, and maybe it could have helped if she did join the Elite, because they did do like those interactions, so you could tell they were probably like thinking about it. What I wanted them to do from the start was her initial feud with Willow Nightingale. I thought that Stokely Hathaway should have turned on Willow and Chris Statlander and joined up with Mercedes, and they just did the Stokely Hathaway character that they originally wanted to do with Jade Cargill, where he was the publicist, where he's the publicist for the CEO, and he can do all the promos for her. Well, now he's off, and he's in one of the best acts in wrestling with FTR, so that ship has sailed. But I think that could work.
Even that, I would say Stokely is the best act within that act. Like the FTR heel that stuff, it's like they are FTR, they will give you fantastic matches. But like I like Dax's little gimmick of not letting anyone talk. He asks them a question, he pulls the mic back. I love that. But
I think they're all firing on all cylinders. Even Cash, because like Cash promo from 2 weeks ago when he was like Mr. Tony Storm and Billy Gunn's dead as son. I was like, yo, these two, both of them, the whole act has really come together.
Yeah. Maybe they're still to grow on me. That they have definitely all been good, especially like you say, Cash kind of being a bit more in the forefront and speaking a bit more and stuff like that. But I just feel without Stokely, they wouldn't have a chance. Like I think he is firmly the belt holding up them pair of trousers, the pants that they're wearing. Because I just feel like FTR are fun. They have great matches, but this hasn't really piqued my interest. It might just be me.
I mean, it may be because they were feuding with Cope and Christian for a lot of it. So I might have to do something for it. Or if you are a Brodito fan and you want the Brodito to keep the titles longer, I can understand those two being
I think
part
it's
of the reason why.
Thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He's like, all of this is just going to lead to Edge and Christian getting the tag team titles, and I don't want to see it.
It's Edge. I don't want to see Edge. I don't mind Christian. I love Christian. I just never really taken to Edge. I don't know what it is. He really gives fun matches, to be fair, once he's in there. But like, there's just something a bit too self-indulgent for me with Edge. And I think he's, especially in AEW, where, you know, they say things are a bit looser, creative might be a bit looser. He loves putting himself in the middle of it, putting himself over. Like, honestly, like I just can't deal with Adam Copeland. Well, Christian's great.
The Mox feud is still one of the worst of the year. Honestly. And it looks even more worse because how good has Jon Moxley been after the Monaco feud?
Literally.
So it's like he was dragging this dude down, and ever since then he's been one of the best wrestlers of the year.
I was telling people at the time, the people that, because that then is when people didn't like the Death Riders, because remember the world title was in the box and everything like that. And I was telling people, no, this isn't Moxley, it's not the Death Riders. Trust me, it's not them. Like it's Edge. You're gonna see it's Edge, and I'm happy that I was vindicated because, like you say, since then Moxley has been on fire. But yeah, then it was a difficult watch. It was difficult to back them. I'm happy I stayed true, but it was difficult.
We got a Death Riders truther here, Mekz. He's a Death Riders truther
from day one. From the minute they tried to strangle my boy Danielson, honestly, I say no. This is my shit. Like I was happy that the swap from Blackpool Combat Club to Death Riders, and then everything they've done since. Even Marina Shafir is now in the thick of things and stuff. Like I think it really works.
Yeah, it just feels like everybody is getting something out of this now. Like, it's not just like for a while. I remember me and you, Josh, we were talking about like, only Yuta is the only one that's really getting the heat out of this. And then it was, only Marina is really like getting over in this. But now it's like Moxley's this great character. Claudio just beat Moxley. Ever since Pac came back, they've kind of given him some big significant singles win. I'm glad that the Death Riders were able to turn it around somehow, some way throughout 2025. But We're gonna let Mekz go in a bit. Before we let you go, though, because we had just this week posted up or opened the polls for our Tru Heel Heat year-end awards, the Heaties, as we call it here. I just put the link in the live chat for everyone that's watching, so you can vote on it now. But we want to get some of your ideas. So where are you leaning for some of these awards, some of the more out there awards? But one that is kind of looking like unanimous across the board from multiple people. I want to know from you where you leaning. Best storyline of 2025.
Oh, it's probably Hangman's run to winning the title.
Everybody and their mama is voting for that.
Honestly, I think around that time, so that was what, All In, right? I made a video on my channel about how and maybe I put the praise again on Death Riders and Moxley, but I think Moxley putting that title in a box for what, 8, 9, 10 months was the greatest thing I've ever seen to raise the prestigiousness of a title. Like, to have the likes of a Swerve, a Osprey, a Hangman all stepping forward. No, I need to be the guy that takes this title out of the box, out of the briefcase. Like, I just felt like it turned into masterful storytelling. And the Raw, when Hangman opened that briefcase to reveal the AEW title that still had Danielson's side plates on it. Nah, that is the story. that is how you tell a story. Like, it's brilliant stuff. Like, yeah, struggle, everything, domination by the Death Riders. Then he finally gets toppled. Yeah, I think that's it. It's gotta be.
And it's just like so many elements that went into that. It's the Death Riders and their whole story and what they did to Bryan Danielson, what they did to Darby Allin, and those two guys getting involved in the matchup. It's Will Ospreay, who was kind of like the peacemaker between these two blood rivals, between Hangman and Swerve. It's about the Hangman and Swerve storyline. It's about Hangman's descent into the madness and then coming out and being like, okay, why are you guys cheering me? Like I just burned this guy's house down. I just put a syringe in his head. I just blasted this guy in the head. I just retired my best friend and mentor, and you guys still are cheering me. And it's about MJF as well was involved in that. That's why it made sense. He was the immediate first challenger, because MJF was the first guy who was like, why are y'all cheering Hangman? He burned down somebody's house. Like,
MJF's role helped turn Hangman to a babyface ultimately.
Yes.
Like, MJF, remember when MJF was off doing the stuff with Jeff Jarrett or whatever they were trying to do there?
Yeah,
like,
that's the big pivot. Like, people say the big pivot of the year is them going with Hangman instead of Ospreay. No, the big pivot is saying MJF and Jeff Jarrett isn't working. Let's do MJF and Hangman. And they've been firing ever since then.
100%. Yeah. They invested in the younger side of the roster, because I don't know where that Jeff Jarrett stuff was going. I was fearing for them. I can't lie. And I like Jeff Jarrett, but I just thought, come on, guys, really? But yeah, they made the pivot. It made sense. And 100% that has got to be the best story told on pro wrestling TV this year.
Absolutely. And last one for you before we let you go. Let's go with best individual promo of the year.
Best individual promo.
I will tell you mine so you can get some ideas in your head. Mine right now, where I'm leaning, is you are sentenced to a lifetime of obscurity.
Toni Storm. That was very good. That was very good. I mean, she wasn't lying either, was she? Yeah, that was a very good one. I'm thinking some of the John Cena ones. I think the reverse pipe bomb when he had CM Punk down. A lot of the John Cena stuff, it was good because it's Cena, and his delivery more than anything, more than what he's saying, is just A1. I think it's recency bias for sure, but I think the one that has caused a lot of uproar and getting people behind the guy, the recent Obafemi "Your Daddy Is Home" promo.
Oh, nice.
It's not on the level of, you know, some of these ones that I guess mean more, but in a time where Ricky Saints is a champion this guy's just returned and he's cut a promo like that. Like, you should have known the writing's on the wall. The title is going straight back to the owner. Like, that promo, I feel, and what he's probably done socially as well, has probably got him to where he is a matter of weeks later, NXT champion, facing Cody. And mind you, the promo he cut last night on Cody was pretty excellent. It was pretty flawless for like your first promo on the main roster against the undisputed champion. Like, WWE have one with Obafemi. Like, if they mess,
does he win tonight?
He should. I was earlier in the week, I was against him winning at the hands of, Drew getting involved, and I think it should just be a straight, clean, very much how Kevin Owens beat John Cena in 2015 sort of thing. But I can understand if you want to protect Cody with Drew running in Claymore, and then maybe Obafemi gets the upper hand. I can get it. I won't be mad at it. But 100% either way, however they do it, Obafemi should beat Cody. That's how I see it.
I agree, because this would be so stupid if Cody just wins.
Stupid.
You should have just kept the title on Ricky if you just wanted Cody.
Literally. I agree.
But yes, thank you so much, Mekz. We always enjoy having you on the show. I enjoy being on Wresthings. I'll be back in the UK next week, so keep me in mind for a future episodes, good brother.
Nice.
But want to give you the floor here and let everybody know where they can follow you on social media, where they can follow Wresthings. The floor is yours.
I appreciate you, man, and thank you for having me. You guys' dedication on Tru Heel Heat is something that we aspire to. Always online, always live, giving the good people some wrestling news, information, and your takes. So you guys are doing a great job as well. Myself, my name is Mekz, WrestleManiac UK. I've got my own YouTube channel, posting a lot of like analytical video essay type videos. Posted one this past week with Ibu of Self-Made, talking all things ageism in wrestling right now, which is a hot topic. Other than that, you can catch me on the Wresthings channel. That is me and the Mandem. We're making podcast every week. Like I said earlier, we're doing our tier rankings, so we're ranking most of the things that happen in wrestling. John Cena and all his matches and moments is coming out this next week, and then after that, tier ranking, men of the year, women of the year, freshmen of the year. That's all coming out soon as well. So yeah, Wresthings, WrestleManiac UK on all social media platforms, and yeah, stay connected.
Support the good brother, support the Mandem. Mekz, you're doing great stuff. You guys are doing great stuff at Wresthings. Like I said, I hope I'll be on another episode in 2026. I'll be back in the UK, brother. Good. I'll see you then.
Take care. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. We got some love in the chat here. We got a salute to Mekz. Man, it says Wresthings rules from Davion. We also got Big Up UK. I know I Make Beats was happy. He was like, someone with the British accent on this show. He was like, I'm in heaven. He's like, my two favorite things, UK accents, wrestling, and Tru Heel Heat. All my favorite things in one. But we also got Davion who said, I was told AEW is failing and it's just about matches. Swerve versus Hangman Page, Adam Page Redemption, Tony and Mariah, like the downfall of Jon Moxley, the whole Death Rider saga and Reign of Terror. The list goes on and on. Like, don't listen to the Dannys and the Matt Hardys of the world. If you actually watch it, you will realize that some of the best stories in wrestling was from AEW this year. And I don't have that in the agenda at all, but you did mention it earlier. What did you think about the whole Matt Hardy and Dax Harwood drama? Me and Jimmy talked about it on AE Ramble. We'll probably drop a THH cut about that when we talked about it there. But Matt Hardy put out basically had a fiery debate that went viral this week, where he says that he wants TNA not to be about 5-star matches. He was like, AEW can do their 5-star matches. Where TNA, he wants it to be about characters and stories. That's what's gonna make it improve. That's what it's gonna make it grow. AEW's reliance on 5-star matches over story and characters is what's keeping them at a certain level and not allowing them to grow bigger. So he got this whole debate. John Alba, thankfully, pushed back against that and was like, can't you have both? And hasn't AEW done a good job of doing both? So I like the fact that John Elbow pushed back about that. John is great at what he did, but basically that created a discourse in the wrestling community that caught wind of Dax Harwood. Dax Harwood puts out a tweet saying that the older some of these wrestlers get, they complain about 5-star matches, and the older they get, they secretly wish they had 5-star matches. He was like, it doesn't matter what one guy thinks 5-star match, whatever a 5-star match is. And he had some support of Dave Meltzer when he was being someone called him a moron in the comments, and Matt used that to kind of clap back at Dax, saying that he believes in wrestling Twitter. You should tag someone if you're going to moan about their wrestling takes. He was like, he thinks that AEW has an over-reliance on 5-star matches over story and characters. He was like, we're going to focus on stories and characters. That's what allows us to grow. That's why we've been packing houses and breaking records here in TNA. So whatever a 5-star match, like what you like, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it just created two grown-ass men acting like children on Twitter. Fun times. And the fact that Matt is just so bitter about AEW, I did have to bring that up on In the Weeds this week, because every time AEW is brought up, it's either comments that fuel tribalism or comments about you kind of still being bitter about how the AEW run went down and how it ended, when it went a lot better than any of us thought it would, and it should have, because of what your brother did more than anything. So, Josh, what did you think about that whole back and forth?
Before I say anything, I love Matt Hardy. I love the Hardy Boys in general. I respect Matt Hardy, but the issue that I have is that it seems like every time he does bring up AEW, he tries to come from a place of, I'm not bitter. I'm not, this is not me trying to knock on them. But every single time he brings them up, he knocks on them. And when you do that, you are amping up the tribalism that's online, especially when you do it on X. X is already toxic as it is. When it comes to both sides of the spectrum, when it comes to being anti-AEW, pro-WWE, pro-AEW, anti-WWE, it's definitely a toxic pull that you create every time you do something like that. I can understand where Matt is coming from about like, hey, we should do this more, we should do that more. But I think where he comes from is I think it's coming from a place that's not like, I think it's kind of like a deer in the headlights, because what you're criticizing AEW for, you should criticize your own company where they come up with storylines and it's not very good. Like, you want to talk about storylines, you want to talk about storytelling, yet look at what you've been doing this year. Now, you could try to convince me of like, oh, we're doing this, we're selling out places, we're selling out that. I already know a lot of the ins and outs about TNA in regards to the sellouts. I already know about that. And I know a lot of it is not actual facts. And I have people to back me up on that. So a lot of things that they've been doing is a lot of smoke and mirrors. They got a TV deal, that's great for them. But you can't tell me that you could sit there on Thursdays or every time they do a show, or like when they're partnering up with NXT, you can't tell me that's a great show. Like you can't tell me what they're doing is better than AEW. And the fact that you're just ignoring what AEW has improved on, I think that's also very misleading. I think a lot of people do that. In the chat, Danny's one of them that does that a lot. Obviously, people are looking at what they did in 2023, maybe parts of 2024. But if they're improving on things, or they fix things, how come that can't be acknowledged? You know what I mean? Like, how come you could ignore that? And to me, that's kind of, that's where I stand on when it comes to criticize something. Make sure, if you're criticizing it, make sure you're not only accurate, but make sure you're pointing out when you're talking about, or whatever the case may be. You know, and I think Matt himself was doing that, where, you know, he's like, oh yeah, they go focus on their 5-star matches. Oh, every week we're not trying to do 5-star matches. AEW, technically, I don't think every week is trying to do 5-star matches. They're just trying to put out a better show. You know, they're trying to be the alternative. And if you have a weekly show and you have people paying a ticket, you should give them their money's worth. Don't tell me that, hey, we're going to focus on stories, and then you give them mediocre matches, or, you know, mid performances. I don't think that's right. People are paying to see wrestling. So you should give your best. You should do that stuff. Now I understand where he comes from, of like, oh, it shouldn't be always 5 stars. I understand that, but how many weeks in AEW do we get 5-star matches? We get like 4-star matches. We get like 4.25 matches. I don't think they always strive for 5-star matches. But you also got to look at the performers who are in the match. You know, like this past week when we had Speedball and Kyle Fletcher, we had 2 great fucking performers. Speedball's strongest point is his wrestling. So if your strong point is your wrestling, you should give it your all, in my opinion. You know, as far as Dax, you know, Dax made his comments. I thought Dax was fairly right, but obviously, I mean, I'm just gonna call it like it is. Dax was definitely talking about Matt Hardy. You know, he was trying to say, oh, I don't know where this is coming from. You were taking a shot at Matt Hardy. I just got called like it is on both ends. But I think
great response. That was gangster. Huh? Just being like, that was gangster to just be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. This wasn't about you.
yeah. I mean, it was funny. The way he responded was kind of funny because people were more on his side of it. But I mean, low key, I just got called like it is. It's like, yeah, that was about Matt. Just because Matt is the only one that's been complaining about that recently. And as far as the debate between him and John Alba, I'll give it to John Alba. Like I sat there, I listened to the whole thing, you know, and I like the fact that John Alba, as much as he respects Matt Hardy, you see the way he was responding to him. It was kind of like 2 friends talk to each other, and he's like, okay, but you still didn't really answer my question. I'm just asking you, like, you know, you could just, you know, you got answered the question. Because I think in the beginning, he asked him a question, and Matt Hardy kind of drifted from that. And he's like, yeah, but that really didn't answer my question. And then when he asked us the question about, like, yeah, but how come you have both? Matt Hardy kind of like got caught. He got caught in a few corners because the things that Matt Hardy was trying to say was kind of like, I don't want to say he was contradicting himself, but what you're telling me is that, okay, we're okay putting out mid matches. We don't care about the matches. We care about the storylines. Or we care about this, we care about characters. If you're trying to be a TV show, you're trying to be Breaking Bad, just tell me you're trying to be Breaking Bad. Don't tell me that you're trying to be wrestling. TNA, look at the name of TNA, total nonstop action. I want more wrestling. You have the performers, you have the talent to do it. I should be getting more wrestling. And if you want to be WWE light, just say that. Just say that at this point. That's what you're trying to focus on. But again, his argument is about having more stories, having more of this and that. Your stories should be better if you want more stories. TNA hasn't put out great stories because we could go down the road. We could even talk about the Santana stuff. Oh, people like the Santana stuff. People like Santana. People don't like the storyline. That's the difference.
The story has not been good with Santana.
Yeah, and it hasn't been good.
It is a case of people just like Santana.
Yeah, and people want Santana to, you know, overstrike. People believe, you know, people are behind Santana, right? But what people don't look at is how it got there, right? You're talking about Slammiversary. Slammiversary should have been his moment. They freaking didn't pull that. Instead, they had this man wait 3 months. They had this guy hold the title, but then they did a storyline of, oh, well, he can't defend the title in 50 days. So, you know, it's just it's stupidity. And then when you finally give Santana the belt, you go off TV for a month. And then the moment that you come back, you have him lose. How was that a great storyline? How was that great storytelling? You know, like how are you trying to convince me that's great? That's great stuff. That's not great. That's bad.
To be fair, Matt's original comment said nothing about great stories. He said he wants it to be focused on stories.
Yeah, man. I mean, I get that, but then it's like, if you want to focus on stories, give Give me something good. Don't tell me they're gonna put out stories just about stories. You know what I mean? Like if your big thing is about focus on stories, focus on great fucking stories. Don't give me some mid shit that makes no fucking sense, or this shit in the 90s would have worked because people would have been behind it. We're in 2025. We shouldn't be going backwards. We should be going forward. All I'm saying is that, Alba is right. You could have both. You could have both. And if one company is focusing on wrestling, so fucking what? Like, if you're not part of it.
Me personally, I think that AEW's done a great job of doing both this year.
They have, and there's so many instances that you can say that, right? You can say that, and you can say that, hey, there might be some things that you might not like, but overall, you can't tell me they haven't improved on that, because they improved greatly on that. I'm not saying it's perfect. No company is perfect at all, but you can't ignore that aspect. It's like when people talk about the Death Riders, right? People always remember the bad times of the Death Riders, so people still complain about it now. But then it's like, okay, but the Death Riders have actually been really good on TV now. They've actually improved on that. How come you just ignoring that? Why are you ignoring? Like, why are you still focusing on what happened that was bad? You know what I mean? And I remember I had this debate with Santo before, because Santo brought up, he's like, the Death Riders and on TV is so. But I'm like, but have you been watching? No. All right, so that means you haven't been seeing the improvement that they've made to even complain about it. You know what I mean? So it's like, again, I'm in more in line with Alba. You could have both. You could have both. You could have great storytelling and you could have wrestling. All I'm saying is, as a fan myself, if I'm paying a ticket, if I want to watch wrestling, I want to look at the card. I want to see what I'm getting that night, and I want to be satisfied with what I'm getting when I pay a ticket to be in the building.
There you go. Well, we got to talk about a few notes of an AEW news to get into an update. We talked about the Netflix bid for WBD last week, the ongoing drama of the sale of AEW broadcast partner Warner Brothers Discovery saw an interesting shift this week, with Paramount Skydance launching a hostile bid to acquire all of WBD's assets. Initially, the streaming giant Netflix won the bidding war to acquire WBD, with the two entities entering an exclusive negotiating period for the sale. However, that prompted the latest hostile bid attempt by Paramount. During Thursday's Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez discussed this development and how potential Netflix or Paramount acquisitions might affect AEW. Last year, AEW signed a new multi-year media rights deal with WBD, which is set to run through 2027, expire early in 2028. Meltzer discussed the potential scenario of Netflix acquiring WBD. As part of Netflix's proposed acquisition, the streamer would acquire Warner Brothers Pictures, its IP, and HBO Max. Netflix would not acquire the WBD-owned television networks, which include TBS and TNT, the networks that air AEW Dynamite and Collision. In the event of a Netflix acquisition of WBD, the established Turner networks would likely spin off into their own entity. But where does that leave AEW with the television rights with the Turner networks and the streaming rights on HBO Max, which would hypothetically be owned by Netflix? According to Meltzer, most of the sources he spoke to believe that after a likely Netflix acquisition, AEW would remain on HBO Max rather than moving to a new potential Turner Sports or Turner Network streaming service. Meltzer noted that his belief that due to AEW's existing contract with HBO Max, the promotion would have to stay on the streamer through 2027. It's rumored that WBD has an option to extend its media rights deal with AEW through 2028. Additionally, any potential acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery would likely face heavy government regulation and legal scrutiny, so it could take months, if not years, to finalize the sale. Meltzer speculated that nothing will change for AEW until 2027 or 2028, and that WBD could pick up the option year, so the corporate entity would not have to negotiate a new deal for AEW. That said, Meltzer noted that it's not the end of the world if AEW doesn't reach a new deal with WBD or Netflix, noting that there are other places they can get on. The Wrestling Observer newsletter
writer also explained that AEW should be focused on peaking in 2027 over what the company is doing right now. It's been a busy week in terms of the Paramount and Netflix fighting over their attempts to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, with plenty of development having take place. Netflix and WBD announced a deal that would see Netflix acquire the other company for $8.7 billion or 27.75 per share. That was complicated when Paramount announced a bid for a hostile takeover, and Paramount's made their bid for $30 per share offer that to Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders. That deal is worth $108.4 billion. And however, that deal is also for the entire company, while Netflix's bid does not include the cable TV networks. Under Netflix's deal, WBD would continue with previously announced plans to spin those off into separate companies. And there are a lot of complications with this whole situation. And right now, there's no certainty which deal will ultimately prevail. Analysts have been heavily split as to the possibilities of what will happen. Paramount claims that WBD is overvaluing its TV networks in order to make the Netflix deal look more attractive. WBD seems to be considering the TV networks group to be worth $2.25 a share, while Paramount argues that it's about $1 per share. Adding to the complexity is the fact that the Netflix's offer is mostly cash, with $69.3 billion in cash and $13.4 billion in Netflix stock. Netflix has also committed to $5.8 billion breakup fee, and that will pay whether the deal goes through or not. Paramount's deal, as the Warner Brothers Discovery Wrestling Observer newsletter reports, is an all-cash bid, but also includes partners from a number of outside sources, including $24 billion from Saudi Arabia, out of Dubai, and Carter's sovereign wealth funds. And the deal also includes $54 billion of debt and financing from Bank of America, Citibank, and Apollo Global Management. So it is incredibly complicated. Whereas last week, I was like, if Netflix is acquiring WBD, it's nothing to worry about for AEW for the time being. You don't have to worry about it until you're getting close to the end of this TV rights deal. But now that it's a whole complicated situation with Paramount and they're fighting over it, this could be a problem for AEW sooner than I expected last week, because this shit looks like an absolute fucking mess. And whenever there's a mess over a cable network, it can affect the shows on that cable network. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know, honestly. It's just that it's funny how that happens. We were talking about it. We were talking about the Netflix stuff because Netflix agreed to a deal, right? They even made the what do you call that? The announcement of like acquiring it, but obviously there's that negotiation window that they still have to get through to officially take it. But with Paramount, I mean, it just looks like a mess because of the inner workings of it, of how it happened. You know, Paramount, they were trying to buy WBD for a while. They've been trying to buy them for almost a year. They even tried to buy them when WBD wasn't even up for sale, and WBD said that their offer was too low. And then once it got up for sale, you know, they've been trying every way possible to try to buy it. Obviously, there's a reason why WBD picked Netflix. Netflix did give them a little better deal, but they're not trying to go with Paramount. That's the whole point. And then Paramount just waited 2-3 days and decided to, like, you know what, we're gonna offer $20 billion or more dollars, more money to the stockholders, and this is why we're doing it. You know, that deal with Netflix is a sham. Like, you know, like their response to it was kind of just like, sounds like an angry ex-girlfriend that got upset that the dude picked another girl. Like, that's how it came off. It's very messy. There's a reason why people don't want it to go to to go to Paramount. I just think the whole thing is it's a mess that is going to be going on for a while, and we still don't know the outcome. They made an offer. They made a higher bid offer. Who knows? Legally, that's probably not going to fly just because there was already an agreement. There was already an agreement window that was agreed upon. If that's pen on paper, I don't know. But yeah, it's one of those things we got to wait and see. But man, like, I thought one thing last week we were talking about, I was like, yeah, this thing is complicated. Now it's even more complicated. It's like, oh God, like these motherfuckers talking about so much money involved, $100 billion, man. Just give me 100K. I'll be happy with that. Like, what about me? Somebody like me, just give me that money. I'm not even asking for $1 million. Give me 100K and I'll be set.
Get a TV network. It'll work out for you. As previously reported, AEW star Darby Allin suffered an injury in his matchup against Kevin Knight in the Continental Classic. Fightful Select Answers Q&A has some more details on Allen's injury update. During the matchup, it appeared that Allin awkwardly clipped his leg. According to Sean Ross Sapp on the Fightful Weekly Q&A podcast, Allin was legitimately hospitalized after hurting his leg during the bout. However, Sapp noted that Allen's injury wasn't as bad as it was played up on television. Additionally, Allin was reportedly already released from the hospital before the angle that aired on AEW television. Regardless, Allin has been pulled from the tournament and replaced by former TNT champion Jack Perry. Sapp said it's unknown how extensive the injuries Allin suffered is. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer reported that Allin suffered a head injury, stating that he can travel, but he said that his leg stopped working. I know it's a head injury. Additionally, PW Insider reported that the belief is that Allin suffered a concussion. However, the nature and details of the injury have not been announced yet. The injury marks a major setback for Allin, who has been running wild since coming back to AEW at All In Texas earlier this year. Allin says that he is feeling good amid his recovery, as he had an interview this week speaking with Sports Radio 680. He said on his current recovery status, he said, so right now I feel amazing, and it all depends on how much I still love it. I don't want to be the guy who's in wrestling because I have to. I want to do it because I want to, and that's the thing. As long as I love it, as long as I like going out there and what I do, I will do it. Because honestly, no one knows what I do for my physical recovery regimen. I take care of myself so much. I feel like $1 million right now, and I'm not lying, but I'm just not medically cleared. They're just saving me from me, which is fine, which is good. But at the end of the day, I feel amazing right now. This guy's he's so crazy. He said I hooked up with DDP. I always hang out with him, and he's giving me all these like latest, greatest contraptions in the physical recovery world, ice baths, breath work. I like, everything. I do so much stuff every day. My schedule's 3 hours a day, everything. Meanwhile, Jack Perry, his replacement, reportedly suffered an injury scare himself this past Wednesday on Dynamite. He's appeared to genuinely get hurt, and he hurt his ankle when he performed a dive on Okada during the matchup. Brian Alvarez talked about the injury. Perry reportedly informed officials that he feared he had broken his ankle on the dive when he gets pushed off the top rope and into the cameraman. The good news is that despite Perry fearing that he may have severely injured or broken his ankle, he appears to be fine. Alvarez says now it's looking like he's going to be fine. Alvarez also noted that during the nasty spot where Okada hit the dropkick on Perry while he was on the top rope, the cameraman on the outside was supposed to catch Perry. However, the cameraman reportedly didn't catch Perry as planned. Gotta love those plans that don't go. Why would you ask the cameraman to do it? You already got in trouble for this type of stuff. Wasn't it the production worker you hit by accident? Why would you ask that cameraman to take a dive? Anyway, another person who was on Winter is Coming this past Wednesday was Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston has plenty of time left on his AEW contract. He has a plan for what's taking place afterwards. He spoke to Gabby LaSpensa in a new interview ahead of Winter is Coming, and Kingston talked about his current contract status. He says, "I'm good. I'm not supposed to win. I don't give a fuck. He's not going to kill me," talking about his matchup with Joe. "So I'm going to wake up the next day and just move forward, because guess what? I have 6 years left on my contract. And I want to make my money and then buy a place in Alaska and get the fuck away from society." On being his career plan, he says, "Yes, just get me the fuck to Alaska. I'm going to get me as long as I can watch the Yankees, Giants, Knicks, and Rangers. All that stuff with streaming, I'm good. Leave me alone." Eddie Kingston, you're my hero. He wants to move to Alaska. Eddie Kingston, one of a kind. 6 years, though. Do you think we'll ever see Eddie Kingston win the AEW World Championship?
Maybe as a feel-good moment. Maybe. It's not going to happen anytime soon, though.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with Eddie. But we got an update on a few guys that have been missing from AEW as of late. And we have our latest episode of the life and times of Manuel Andrade Apensa. During a recent interview with Eduardo Bates, former WWE superstar Andrade El Idolo addressed WWE enforcing a 12-month non-compete clause on him. Of course, this happened after Andrade returned to AEW, and WWE, of course, had fired him due to a breach of contract in September before he reportedly signed with AEW. But he was ultimately pulled after WWE sent a cease and desist order to the AEW and Andrade. Andrade commented on his situation. He says, "The current situation was that after my appearance in AEW and that I was in Crash and won the heavyweight title in Tijuana on that Monday, I received a letter from WWE Company where it said that it had a 12-month non-compete clause." Andrade also stated that his attorneys are currently in talks with WWE. He continued, "My lawyers are currently in talks with WWE to reach the best deal. At first, it was a little closed and difficult on both sides because I was disorientated and a little upset about the clause. By WWE, I understand it. Of course, after my appearance in AEW, I don't know if that was what annoyed WWE. I'm not so sure." It was. Andrade also reportedly stated during the interview that he didn't sign a contract with AEW before appearing on Dynamite in October. He said during the interview, he said the truth of it is it's a long story, but he did not sign a contract with AEW before appearing on Dynamite. He did not sign anything, he says. He also talked about his not feeling bad about his WWE exit in September. He says, "The truth is a long story. I don't feel bad about my WWE exit. I'm very grateful for how much or little I did in that year and a half. I never missed dates and never stopped answering the cell phone, as many gossipy people who broke the news said. Yes, I was traveling and they called me. What happened was that I had a day trip because I was not scheduled and they called me. I returned the call at about 1 or 2 hours, but nothing to do with the fact that I didn't want to answer or that I disappeared." On what he claims actually happened, he said it was 1 to 2, 3 hours that I didn't answer, and it was just the company sending me a message like, "Where are you?" and things like that. I don't know who got that story that I didn't want to answer. I was out of the country. I explained to them that I was, and because of the time difference, the internet, no signal, many things, but nothing to do with me. Never answering them or anything like that. He says that it was he talked about his triple A matchup with Kenny Omega as well. He said it was difficult. I want to fight Kenny Omega again. I hope the future allows me to, but of course, if it allows me, I met Kenny on my first tour in Japan. I was 19. And when I went to the Best of Super Juniors in that group, there was a Group B and Group A. I remember Finn Balor, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Kushida, Koji, Kanemoto. They were all there. Kenny was in the other group, and I never got to fight Kenny Omega, which is what I was hoping for. My first match was going to be in AAA for the Mega Championship, but the day before we wrestled in the Southern United States, Kenny wrestled for one of his championships, and we finished the event at midnight and had to be there at 2 p.m. I hired a driver because I had heard things about AAA, and it was my first time competing at that time. It was still the same AAA. I've heard that they haven't changed, and now they go and complain to WWE. I'm not lying to you, but that's how it is. It has to change. Every company has to have problems, but that's normal at work. Normal, and nothing is perfect. Even oneself makes mistakes. I hired a driver as to not look bad with Mr. Ric Flair, Kenny. I don't think he checked in luggage that time because he left quickly in 40 minutes. I had to check in. I was carrying a suit, my gear. My ex-wife also brought her bags, and then they sent me messages from AAA. I left in about 40-50 minutes. Kenny Omega was still outside. They hadn't picked him up. He came in with us. We arrived at the hotel. They were waiting for us in the lobby. We received our rooms until 4, and then they told us that we were leaving in a half an hour. I told them Kenny arrived at 2 p.m. and it's 4:30 p.m. He could have rested for 2 hours. The event starts at 8 p.m. and we are one of the last matches. At least let us leave at 5:30 p.m. so that there is no issues, and my father-in-law until 7 because he will not be there from early. Well, they picked Kenny and me up at about 5:30 p.m. and we arrived at 6, and he basically explains that they were just totally out of it. We were tired because Kenny had consecutive matches. He was a champion. The match was not too bad, but I hope that the next time I have to fight with Kenny, we will give the best match possible. He also talked about that he was supposed to be in the 4-way matchup for the AAA Mega Championship at Worlds Collide. The Wrestling Observer reports that, according to sources in AAA, no such match was ever considered or discussed. He said at Worlds Collide he was supposed to face Elio Del Vikingo, Obafemi, and Rey Fenix. He says, my lawyers are currently in talks with them, but yeah, I was supposed to be in that, but Observer is saying no, that was never a plan. So these Andrade interviews just get more and more funny because I'm learning that Andrade is a fucking pathological liar.
Yeah, I mean,
he lies like way too much. He good lines all the time.
He's a Obafemi. That's how I knew he was like, yeah, he's lying. Obafemi.
It's like, yo, he just be bullshitting. Like, it was probably one of his ideas that got turned down, and he's gonna say it to basically manifest it. He is hilarious, though. I do find him hilarious. I don't believe he didn't sign anything with AEW. I doubt they would allow him on television without signing something. But he's just funny. He's just a funny dude.
Yeah.
Moving on to another person who's off TV right now, former AEW World Champion Maxwell Jacob Fearman, MJF. He's been away from weekly television since All Out Toronto, where he lost to Mark Briscoe in the tables and tax match. MJF hasn't completed since September, but a new report says that the plans are in place for him to return soon. WrestleVotes Live on Fightful Select reports that as of Thanksgiving week, the former AEW World Champion was part of the company's plans for AEW World's End. MJF has been away due to filming obligations, but according to Dave Meltzer, he has wrapped them up, and his return could take place as soon as this coming Wednesday. AEW presents this holiday bash, which they have already announced. The annual Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal will return next week. As is its tradition, the final 2 participants will go one-on-one to earn a shot at the AEW World Championship and to earn the Dynamite Diamond Ring. That match is scheduled for the Dynamite on 34th Street, which is taped inside the confines of the iconic Hammerstein Ballroom on December 20th and will air on Christmas Eve. The winner will then face the AEW World Champion on January 14th on Dynamite. With the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal coming back that MJF has dominated 6 years straight, Meltzer believes that the Long Island native could make his return to AEW television and participate in that match on December 17th, and it will be interesting to see if that happens. This is from 0 to 100, Josh. What you're putting on seeing MJF in the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal this Wednesday?
I'm gonna put it at 95%.
95%? Wow. I'll put it at 75%. 75%. It would make a whole lot of sense. But like, MJF, why do you need another title shot? You already got a title shot when you have a guaranteed title shot from Casino Gauntlet. Now you want a third title shot when you still haven't used that contract?
He's gonna try to milk it every different way. He's gonna try to use all his resources until he has no choice but to cash in.
There we go. You're probably right.
I mean, it is kind of a heel tactic if you think about it.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Like you're trying to like cut corners and find ways to not use your guaranteed contract.
This dude is freaking using this shit like it's a video game. Like he's fucking got unlimited lives in the video game and shit. Basically, that's what he's doing. But we got Sarah Stock update, unfortunately. She has been deeply critical of AEW over the past few months on social media. A new report has details on the reaction within the company to her. Stock, who worked as a producer and coach at AEW until her release in April, has posted repeatedly on Twitter over the last week alleging corruption and negligence on the company's part. Stock has been critical of AEW in the past, apparently taking issue with the drowning spot, part of the Darby Allin John Moxley match at Wrestle Dream. She wrote, "You know who should stop this? Mothers with their remote controls. This is worse than the plastic bag over the head. Kids are going to end up dead trying this stuff at home at AEW." Notably, Stock and Amanda Huber got into a whole disagreement over that spot, with Huber pointing out that it took place after midnight, at least on the East Coast. Going back to the past week, Stock has been making several posts on Twitter alleging, among things, that AEW replaced its mental health team with third-party booking app. She has levied criticism at AEW COO Koshi Irby and Director of Performance Psychology Chris Manzone, EVP of Global Production Mike Manzuri, and Huber, who works with the company's community team. Stock accused the company of poor treatment of Latin American talent, noting that she witnessed AEW of flying Mexican talent in for Dynamite and Collision on Tuesday, keep them in the country until Sunday, no per diem, no food allowance, and just a day a week or at home with family. She alleged that she told Irby about, and he said I'd have to do it for everyone. When she was released, it was reported that Stock has raised issues with AEW's mental health program and department being heavily shifted, and there was no word at the time on whether that contributed to her exit. That brings us all to the present. Fightful Select reports that Stock's posts were a significant point of discussion at AEW. Some elements of her tweets are said to be true. For one, she also complained about international talent got or not getting picked up at the airport for shows, and he reports notes that some talent have such a situation worked into their deal that all travel is supposed to be reimbursed. Regardless of their vicinity, the tweets were a big discussion of point backstage in AEW, and AEW has not publicly addressed Stock's claims. So, I mean, if she making a good point, then fine to her. She's just the wrong messenger because she has come off like a belligerent drunk at times.
Yeah. It's just that it's one of those things where, you know, she could be saying things that are true, but then also I think part of it is like she's kind of ruined her credibility. Because I have seen certain things that she did write about. She's basically accusing, you know, Brody Lee's widow of, you know, undermining a lot of women talent. That was crazy. The way that she went about that was just insane. But then I don't know. I do not know what's going on with her. She's talking about mental health. She probably really needs to look into that herself, because It's not good. It's like, honestly, it's gotten to a point where I'm like, I don't even care what she says. It's just like, sis, like you keep digging yourself into deeper shit. Like, stop with the nonsense at this point.
She went after WWE as well. Was that before or after she defended Vince McMahon?
Oh, that was, yeah.
That's all I want to know, because I stopped
Oh, no,
listening to her when she
no,
defended
no.
Vince McMahon.
No. She only said something about WWE after the fact of, like, what I said. She said something about Amanda, and then she said something about WWE like a few days later. At that point, does it really matter? I was like,
Stupidness. Very quickly, I didn't put it in the agenda, producer, I'm sorry, but ROH TV on Honor Club. You had Spanish Announce Project picked up a victory. You had Dark Order picked up excuse me, picked up a trios win over the Frat House. Zeta Steel made her Honor Club debut, picking up a win over Rachel Ellering. Jay Lethal picked up a win over Nathan Cruz. Hechicero defeated Josh Woods, while Red Velvet beat Lacey Lane in a proving ground matchup. Adam Priest, Tommy Billington, the Outrunners, and Dalton Castle defeated MXM TV and the Premier Athletes, while Commander and Skyflight picked up a win over Shane Taylor Promotions, and Death Riders beat Aaron Solo and Willie Mack. So that was ROH TV on Honor Club this week, but it's time for us to go over to Japan for New Japan Pro Wrestling's World Tag League, as tomorrow will be the finals of this year's World Tag League. And I gotta say, this has probably been my second favorite tournament of the entire year outside of the G1. Because, man, these heavyweights and these tag teams have been a hit. Some of these new tag teams, older tag teams have been really rocking and having great matches throughout the tournament. You had day 12 earlier this week on last Sunday, which had B block action. TMDK, Zack Sabre Jr. and Roye Uyawa beat David Finlay and Hiromu Takahashi in a very good match. Monster Sauce pulled off an upset over IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, the Knockout Brothers, while United Empire's Callum Newman and Great Okan cheated to beat El Phantasmo and Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura picked up a win over House of Torture, Sanada, and Ren Narita in the main event. Day 13 had the final AA block night, as Bishamon scored a victory over War Dragons in a great main event. Bolton Oleg and Toriano picked up a win over the House of Torture's Evil and Don Fale. El Desperado and Shuji Ishikawa beat House of Torture's Chase Owens and Yujiro Takahashi, while Gabe Kidd and Yoda Tsuji defeated Team 100's Taichi and Satoshi Kojima. Then day 14 had the final B block night, as TMDK beat Monster Sauce to earn their spot as number 2 in the block to advance to the semifinals. Tanahashi and ELP picked up a win over Sanada and Narita, while Finlay and Hiromu scored a victory over United Empire in a very good match. The Knockout Brothers defeated Shooter and Uemura in a great main event to earn the number 1 spot in B block and advance to the semifinals. Then you had day 15, which had the start of the semifinals with TMDK defeating Bishamon in a terrific main event to advance to the World Tag League final on Sunday. And then you had yesterday morning, day 16, which featured Gabe Kidd and Yoda Tsuji beating the Knockout Brothers, the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, in a physically intense battle to advance to the World Tag League final against CSJ and Uyawa. So we know what the final is going to be. We'll give you our predictions in a bit, but it was a great week for New Japan Pro Wrestling, as it was officially announced this week that tickets for WrestleKingdom 20
are all sold out. It is completely sold out for January 4th, 2026. The event originally sold out after NJPW announced that Hiroshi Tanahashi would be facing his greatest rival, Kazuchika Okada, at the event. The normal seating plan was for around 40,000 people. The company then announced that it was adding additional seating, and they have sold out of those as well, making WrestleKingdom 20 one of the biggest drawing events in New Japan Pro Wrestling history, as over 50,000 people will be in attendance. It will be the largest pro wrestling event at the Tokyo Dome since Antonio Inoki's retirement match back in April of 1998. No main event for either show has been announced yet. The top two matches announced for the card are Tanahashi versus Okada in Tanahashi's final matchup, and IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Konosuke Takeshita versus IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion Yota Tsuji. Winner takes all. Hiroshi Tanahashi is known as one of the greatest all-time wrestlers in New Japan Pro Wrestling history. He has been wrestling a close to full-time schedule in this retirement tour for him. Tanahashi's opponent, Kazuchika Okada, is his greatest rival, and they've had a series of matches at WrestleKingdom 7 in 2013, WrestleKingdom 9 in 2015, and WrestleKingdom 10 in 2016. Tanahashi won the first two meetings and left Okada in tears after beating him for the second time on NJPW's biggest stage, and Okada managed to come back the next year and beat him and capture the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at the event. So Takeshita, Tsuji, sorry to tell you, you'll be in the semi-main event because Okada and Tanahashi, after selling 50,000 tickets, it's definitely headlining on January 4th. What do you think?
Honestly, I think it has to. That is the biggest selling point. And that's why they're doing 50,000 people. I'm happy for them. I know this was something that they've been striving for. They've been striving to, not only sell out the building, but they just wanted a good crowd, and the fact that they're getting it, that not only they're getting it, but the key matchup they're getting it with is like, oh shit, like getting Tanahashi versus Okada. Obviously, there was people who were looking in, I think, too deep into the Nakamura stuff. That was never happening. No matter how you want a pipe dream, that was never gonna happen. So, Okada, I mean, it's still a great, that's still like, that's considered the backup. I mean, you can't get one hell of a backup than Okada. I mean, but that's crazy. 50,000 people in the Tokyo Dome. Damn. Shit. Like, I remember a couple years ago that Kenny, what was it? Was it the Kenny and Jericho one where they did over 40,000? Were they close to that? Yeah. I thought that was a big crowd.
They did 40,000 for the ad. I think they did 40,000 for. No, they did 30,000 for Okada and Kenny the year prior. So,
and it's like, damn, now we're getting 50. I'm like, damn, like, I mean, that's gonna be one hell of a show.
They did 40 for the last WrestleKingdom before the pandemic.
Yeah, that's gonna be one hell of a show. I'll tell you that, man. Like, man, happy for them.
It's gonna be a special night for sure. We'll be doing a preview for that show. We'll also be doing, of course, a review for that show. That will be the day after WrestleKingdom, but I think we might have to do a watch along for this one. This one is special, and let's see. I'll since Romeo will probably not see this anytime soon. Let's see. I'm gonna leave it out to Romeo. Let's see if Romeo is so enthusiastic about us watching the retirement of Hiroshi Tanahashi as much as he is about us watching the retirement of John Cena. Because I'll say this, and I know other people have said it, but I want to say it as well. Hiroshi Tanahashi had by far the better retirement tour. And I think it is a situation of what we talked about, I think, last week with Survivor Series War Games, where Tony Khan basically counter-programmed by putting blood and guts, and WWE basically paled in comparison to that. So another promotion did the WWE thing better than WWE. And I think it's the same thing with New Japan and WWE. Hiroshi Tanahashi was full time. He worked every big show, and he had these key moments and key matchups that he did. I remember his final USA show against Takeshita in one of his best matches of the year. I remember him dragging out a very good matchup from Evil at WrestleKingdom. I remember his last G1 and getting his 100th win in the G1 over Yota Tsuji. I remember the road to his final matchup and facing the likes of like Yudo Ice and facing younger guys on the roster, being a part of every single heavyweight tournament this year. He was a part of the G1, the World Tag League, the New Japan Cup. Like this is how you do a proper retirement tour.
Yeah, and then even and then when he was showing up in AEW, like it felt more because we kind of knew like this was probably gonna be the last few times we're gonna see him. So every time he popped up, it was
he has the best moment of the lights out steel cage matchup when he tries to climb the ladder and then climb the cage. It's the best part of that fucking match.
Yeah, so it's I can't even argue that because what we got with Tanahashi, that's kind of what I kind of hoped for John Cena. And the problem with that, with John Cena one, is like not only the way that the book, but it's like 36 dates. There's like not much you could do with 36
when he
dates.
wanted to do 220 dates.
Yeah, he wanted to do
even though they don't have 220 dates, but he still wanted to do it.
Yeah, and he wanted to do it because of the house shows and all that stuff. He wanted to do, he wanted to go all out like that, and I commend Cena for feeling that way, but I mean, it's really no comparison. Obviously people are going to like argue it and probably say Cena just because they don't pay attention to New Japan. So their opinion doesn't really matter. So, I mean, and it's also a different feel because at least with Tanahashi, he is still the president of New Japan. So at least you're still gonna like be seeing him. He's not gonna be actively wrestling, but I do feel like it is the best time for him to retire. He is. He's been slowed down and he's been running on one knee. Sometimes he has no knees. So at least he's kind of aware of that. But to his credit, he did give a lot of good performance of somebody who's broken down like him. You can't really knock it. Like he was also really trying. That's the difference too.
Yeah, he had that great match with Yota Tsuji for the Global Heavyweight Championship in November, and he had a great match with Gabe Kidd earlier in the year. Like, yeah, Tanahashi, he put in real effort, and New Japan put in real effort to give him a proper kind of send-off tour. So we got better effort from the company and the performer in this case than in comparison to WWE. CMLL, Viernes Spectacular. We finish off with the Tony Khan and AEW partner promotions. Last night's Viernes Spectacular was the Super Viernes, as you had the show featuring a big-time title match in the main event as Mystico defeated Soberano Jr. in what I thought was an awesome main event to retain the CMLL Light Heavyweight Championship. Then while you had Atlantis Jr. and Shelwa, along with Angel Dorora and Utanani, made it to the finals of the Grand Artediva, which is basically a random partners elimination tournament. So that will be completed next week, I believe, at Dream Match. CMLL Dream Match is a big show next week where they're going to have 3 big CMLL versus AEW matches. You got Claudio Castagnoli versus Ultimo Guerrero for the CMLL Heavyweight Championship. You got Kevin the Jet Knight versus Neon, and you got the big one, Speedball Mike Bayley versus Masquerade Dorada. Oh, I can't wait for next Friday. That's going to be banger after banger after banger. But we've made it to the end, Josh, of the AEW and New Japan and CMLL and ROH portion of the show. So you know what time it is, do you?
Yes, I do.
It is TikTok time. And for TikTok time, Josh, we're doing something special this week. We're celebrating
John Cena with a King of the Hill of John Cena matches. Yes, we will determine the King of the Hill of all John Cena matches on today's show. Are you ready, Josh?
Yeah. I was gonna try to think about what to say something about. You know what? Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, we're gonna start early on in John Cena's career. We got John Cena versus The Undertaker from Vengeance 2003 versus John Cena versus Kurt Angle from No Mercy 2003.
Oh boy. See, that's the thing. I actually like both matches. I'm gonna go with Taker.
I would probably go with Angle. The Angle match I thought was better. I always loved Cena's chemistry with Kurt Angle because Kurt Angle forced him to wrestle a bit more, show his technical ability, run the ropes quite a bit. So I will take Angle. So it'll be up to the chat, and it looks like the chat is saying Cena and Angle. Looks like it. All right, I gave you a few more seconds to vote, you Undertaker fans, but 3-1, Cena and Angle will move on. As
No,
we're gonna
definitely
do
Angle. Just go with Angle. It's fine.
We're gonna do Cena and Angle versus Cena and Big Show from WrestleMania 20.
Cena and Angle.
Yeah, Cena and Angle. Definitely Cena and Angle. Cena and Angle versus Cena versus Booker T from SummerSlam 2004.
Cena and Angle.
Cena and Angle. You got to give it another win. Cena and Angle versus Cena versus JBL I Quit match. Judgment Day 2005.
Oh, and that was actually it was better than their Mania match. That's why I'm like, ooh.
I feel like this is the first one where I would be like, this is on like another level, because I thought like the Cena and Angle matchup at No Mercy was great. Like, this is like when I start using more adjectives, like terrific, awesome. This was on another level. Seeing Cena with the face full of blood, it's his greatest crimson mask he's ever had. I'm going with Cena and JBL.
I'll go with Cena and JBL.
Cena and JBL versus Cena and Chris Jericho from SummerSlam 2005.
I'll probably stick with Cena and JBL.
We're both going to stick with Cena and JBL. Cena and JBL versus Cena and Angle again at Survivor Series 2005.
See, I'll stick with Cena and JBL.
Sticking with Cena and JBL. That's his best match from that year. All right, now we're going to get a little bit tougher here. Cena and JBL from Judgment Day 2005 versus Cena Triple H WrestleMania 22.
That is tough. I'm going to go with Cena and Triple H.
All right, it's another one we're going to have to give to the chat. I'm going with Cena and JBL still. I still think that's the better matchup. Davion's going Cena and Triple H. So now Cena and Triple H is up 2-1. Where we at, folks? Comment, let us know. JBL, Triple H. Let us know. JBL, Triple H. We got another vote for JBL. So now we're at 2-2. 2-2. Next comment is gonna win this one. So if you want Triple H or JBL, Triple H wins.
Oh, Chuck Berry. Oh, shit.
Triple H wins thanks to Chuck Berry. So Triple H and John Cena versus Triple H, John Cena, Edge from Backlash 2006.
I'm going to go with the triple threat.
I'm going to go with the triple threat as well. Triple threat from Backlash 2006 versus Cena RVD One Night Stand 2006.
Probably One Night Stand.
It's not the better matchup, but it's the better feeling. I'm going.
Yeah,
with
that's
one
what I'm like.
night
I think one night stand. That's why I'm like one night stand.
Oh,
One night
man.
stand.
It's funny because I really feel like not enough people talk about the Cena Triple H matchup, whereas that's like really kind of like the first sign of the adult fans, the adult male fans rejecting Cena, and then the culmination of it is One Night Stand. Like that is the whole big blow up of the hardcore fan don't really fuck with John Cena. That was like those two matches really defined that to me. So I'll go One Night Stand there. Then this I don't know how long this is gonna be here. Cena and RVD versus Cena and Edge TLC Unforgiven 2006.
Cena Edge. I mean, Cena Edge.
Cena and Edge. That's the greatest match together. Cena and Edge for me. Cena and Edge TLC versus Cena and Randy Orton SummerSlam 2007.
I'm gonna stick with the TLC.
I'm sticking with TLC as well. Cena and Edge TLC matchup versus Cena and Michaels WrestleMania 23.
Ooh, I'm gonna stick with the TLC.
I'll stick with TLC as well. Unfortunately, I don't know how long I'm going to be doing that. Cena and Edge TLC versus Cena Michaels in London, Monday Night Raw. I'm going with London. For 58 minutes in London. That changed how people viewed John Cena, the wrestler. I'm going with that.
Cena HBK.
Cena HBK in London versus Cena HBK Edge Orton Backlash 2007.
I'm sticking with London.
All right, we're gonna have to give it to the chat because I think this is the greatest four-way in WWE history. I think that this shit is timeless. I've watched this like more recently last year. It's fucking timeless. It's so fucking good that the finish alone makes this one of my favorite four ways I've ever seen in wrestling. But I think specifically for WWE, it's the best four-way in WWE history. I'll go with that one. So we got one for HBK. So you're up 2-1. All right, come on. We have to have more fans of this four-way in the chat. Where's the Backlash four-way in the chat? Nobody? No. Looks like HBK and Cena in London wins that one. Cena, HBK in London versus the Royal Rumble 2008. John Cena's return.
I'm gonna have to go with the Royal Rumble.
The Rumble match itself is good. It's not great. I'll stick with Cena HBK in London. So once again, we're gonna have to give it up to the fan. Once again, we are doing the King of the Hill for the matches. It's not for the moment. If this was just on a moment, then yeah, the Royal Rumble match should win. But this is based on the match. So it looks like we got one,
HBK.
we got two. We got three for HBK in the chat, one for the Rumble. So HBK Cena in London.
That's fine.
HBK Cena in London wins out. Then we'll go HBK Cena in London versus Cena Edge Last Man Standing Backlash 2009.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm probably gonna stick with the London match.
I'll stick with the London match, even though that Last Man Standing match is arguably one of the Cena and Edge's best matches. We'll go with that. London, Cena and HBK versus Cena Orton I Quit match, Breaking Point 2009.
I'm gonna stick with the London match.
I'll stick with London as well. Cena HBK in London versus Cena Randy Orton Iron Man matchup. Bragging Rights 2000.
I'll stick with the London match.
Sticking with London as well. Final one from 2009. Cena HBK London. Cena HBK Triple H Survivor Series 2000.
Probably gonna stick with the London.
London is winning out. It's win 3 years straight. 3 years of John Cena great matches. It's won. We're going into 2010, and there's not much to choose from here. I'll be honest with you guys. We'll go Cena, Cena HBK in London versus Cena Batista, WrestleMania 26.
I'll stick with London.
Sticking with London as well, we'll go Cena HBK in London versus Cena CM Punk Money in the Bank 2011.
Damn, and that was a great match too. I'm gonna go.
Great run for London. Great run for London. It's Cena and Punk.
Well, CM Punk, the Punk match. Yep.
Yo, y'all gonna remember the run that London had on this King of the Hill. That was a great run. It went through 4 years of Cena great matches. All right.
Yeah.
Cena. All right, now we're gonna do the gauntlet of Cena and Punk matches. You ready? Cena and Punk Money in the Bank. Cena and Punk SummerSlam 2011. I'm going with Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
Cena and Punk Money in the Bank. Cena and Punk Night of Champions 2012.
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank as well. Okay, this is the big one. Cena and Punk Money in the Bank. Cena and Punk Raw March 2013.
I'm gonna have to go with the Raw match.
I think that the Raw match is the better wrestled matchup. Once again, I'm going with the feeling. Money in the Bank 2011. That's a feeling. That's a 5-star matchup because of the build-up, because of the big fight feel, and the feeling that you felt watching that matchup. I'll go with Money in the Bank. Yeah. We got 2 for Money in the Bank, 1 for Raw. We'll take one more vote, see if Raw stays alive. Raw stays alive thanks to Davion. So it's tied at 2-2. Now we got 3-2. We'll leave it up to one more comment. Either say Money in the Bank or Raw, and you decide either if it's a tie and we're gonna keep going, or if Money in the Bank is moving on here. One more comment. Whoever wants to put it outside of Bell, Davion, and King Greg. We got a bunch of people watching. If you haven't already, drop the thumbs up on the video. Share it with your friends. Subscribe if you are new. And Power Driver Finisher gives the win to Money in the Bank. Cena, Punk, Money in the Bank versus now the Rock Cena gauntlet. Cena and Rock, WrestleMania 28.
So Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. Cena and Punk, Money in the Bank. Cena and Rock, WrestleMania 29.
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank all the way. Cena and Punk, Money in the Bank. Cena, Bryan, SummerSlam 2013.
Damn. I think I'm gonna stick with Money in the Bank.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with Money in the Bank. I love that moment for Bryan, but yeah, it's money. It's Money in the Bank. What am I? I'm not gonna josh y'all. Yeah, it's Money in the Bank, definitely. All right, now Cena and Punk, Money in the Bank, has to face the most daunting gauntlet of all these gauntlets that Cena has of his matches, the United States Open Challenge. Cena and Punk, Money in the Bank versus Cena Cesaro won during the U.S. Championship Open Challenge.
I'm going to stick with Money in the Bank.
I'll stick with Money in the Bank as well. Cena and Punk, Money in the Bank. Cena and Sami Zayn, U.S. Open Challenge.
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank as well. Cena and Punk, Money in the Bank. Cena and Kevin Owens, Elimination Chamber.
See, that one's a little bit harder.
That's the toughest. This is probably out this whole bunch. This is the toughest.
I'm gonna go with Cena and I'm stuck with Money in the Bank.
I'm gonna stick with Money in the Bank as well, but this is probably the toughest out of all these matches that I have here for the US Open Challenge. Cena and Punk, Money in the Bank. Cena KO, Money in the Bank, 2015.
Punk and Cena, Money in the Bank.
Punk and Cena. Punk and Cena, Money in the Bank versus Cena and Seth Rollins, SummerSlam 2015.
Cena and Punk.
Cena and Punk as well for me. Final two, and it is probably an even tougher gauntlet than the last. Cena and Punk now must face the Cena AJ Styles gauntlet.
Oh, see, yo,
Cena Punk, Money in the Bank. Cena Punk, Cena Punk, Money in the Bank. Cena Styles, SummerSlam 2016.
Cena and Styles, SummerSlam.
I'm gonna go with Cena and Punk, Money in the Bank. So we'll leave it up to the chat. It is tied 1-1. It is up to y'all. Y'all choose between Cena and Punk, Money in the Bank, Cena Styles, SummerSlam 2016. So we got one for Cena and Styles, SummerSlam 2016. We got one for Cena and Punk. We got another for Cena and Punk. So we're 3-2 Cena and Punk. And now, that's the win. 4-2 Cena Punk till the final matchup. And this is what I wanted. I wanted this. I can't believe Cena Punk made it this far. Cena Punk, Money in the Bank. Cena Styles, Royal Rumble 2017.
Cena Styles, Royal Rumble.
This is so hard. Like Cena Styles is a legit 5-star matchup. Yeah, I'm gonna go with. I mean, the chat is already telling me that this is gonna win, so yeah, let's go with it. Cena Styles, Royal Rumble 2017.
But it was also because when he tied Flair for number 16, like that felt way more. Like that felt.
And the
it felt something with the fans.
ring. It never leaves the ring. Greatness. That's one of the best. That's one of the best matches of the last 10 years for me. So yeah, Cena Styles is our King of the Hill of John Cena matches. That was a lot of fun.
No, it was. And then it's like, damn, John Cena did have a lot of great matches. People want to talk shit, just in case. People want to talk shit. Cena did have a catalog of great matches.
Absolutely. All right, we're getting into WWE now. Going over to WWE with Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw this week, the show featured GUNTHER kicking off the show to send a final message to John Cena before his final match, promising to make the legend give up for the first time. Io Sky beat Kairi Sane in a very good opener to the show. Stephanie Vaquer was looking for a new challenger for the WWE Women's World Championship, but got Nikki Bella instead, only for Raquel Rodriguez to lay out the WWE Hall of Famer and then challenge Vaquer to a rematch. This led to a bit of a disagreement with Liv Morgan, who decided to turn her sights on the WWE Women's Tag Team titles with Roxanne Perez, which Roxanne got them on the right stride by picking up a win over Lyra Valkyria in singles action thanks to Liv. AJ Styles, the aforementioned, teaming up with Dragon Lee, they scored a victory over the War Raiders to retain the World Tag Team Championships. Post-match, the New Day came into the ring to confront them, only for the Usos to announce that they are back in the tag team division. They laid out the New Day and stared down with the champions. Logan Paul was a focal point of the show, which is probably why I did not like this week's show. Logan Paul wanted to get a revenge on Rey Mysterio for his slap the week prior, so he jumped the WWE Hall of Famer before his match with Finn Balor. However, Mysterio fought back until the Vision's Masked Man attacked Rey. Then Logan knocked out the WWE Hall of Famer with a loaded punch with brass knuckles until LA Knight made the save. He challenged the Vision member in the main event. Paul picked up the win over Knight thanks again to the Masked Man. Post-match, the Vision jumped Knight in the ring, laying him out and sending him to the back.
Then Paul Heyman and Bron Breakker cut some promos to hype Breakker's World Heavyweight title match on January 5th. Breakker laying into CM Punk again, saying that he's not only going to take his title, he's going to take his wife. However, the Vision then saw Knight getting up backstage, so Logan Paul and Bronson Reed went back to continue their attack, with it ending with Reed delivering a massive tsunami off production boxes onto Knight on top of a car to close the show. Any thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week, Josh?
I don't know. I thought Raw was kind of boring. At least for me. You wasted the masked person on Rey Mysterio, like for that, like that's what you use it for. I was like, okay. And then the whole like Liv Morgan stuff, I thought that was a little strange because last week you kind of made it feel like a little important, like, oh shit, she's back. She's gonna chase the world champion, the women's championship. And then it was like the last week didn't happen. Because it was one thing to like to switch it up, but it's another like if that's what you were gonna do, you should have done that last week. Like you should have made it known like what your direction was gonna be with Liv, not make it feel like she was gonna be important. Then she has like her lackeys with her. Then you kind of just like, all right, Raquel's gonna, I guess, go after Stephanie for the belt, right? Which I get it. It's gonna be like a filler match. I get it, but then who wants to see that? Who wants to see Raquel versus Stephanie? I don't want to see that, you know. And I stand by what I said in the chat for the Monday Night Raw review, just in case the top guy wants to ask about it or question me or thinks I'm going into the whatever word he was saying. No, I've always felt like Raquel was mid. I never thought she was that good, and I stand by that. It don't matter if, oh, well, she's doing her job. It's not her fault. No, she's not good. That's the difference. I don't care if she's doing her job or not. She's not that good. Like, I understand she's doing her job. She has to do her job so she doesn't get fired. I understand that. But to say that she has potential to be top 10, that's crazy to me.
Yo, and I
quickly
named 8 people.
You named 16 people in total that were better. And then honestly, you could have named more. You named 16 people, remind you. So you didn't even finish the list. And then I'm supposed to sit here and convince myself, oh yeah, she has potential. She could be top 10. No, she's not that good. And it's okay to say that she's not that good. It's okay. You could be a fan of her. But I'm going to say, hey, you know, I like Raquel, but hey, you know, Rhea Ripley's better than her. Hey, Bianca Belair is better than her. Hey, even maybe Jade Cargill's better than her. I don't give a shit. You can say that. It's okay to say that. But to act like that, like this is a program that people want to see and tune into, Raquel versus Stephanie, no, absolutely not. You have to be the biggest Raquel fan to tune into this. You would have to be the biggest Raquel fan to tune into this and think that there's any hope that she's Stephanie. I'm sorry. I'm just calling her like it is. Like, you know, and I know he was like, damn, you calling her a bum. I was like, yeah, she's a bum. And I've said that. And I stand by it. She's a bum. Like, what? Like, just like I said, Finn Balor was a bum, right? Remember, Chrissy was like, oh, but he's a bum. He's a bum. And we've been seeing it all year. He's a bum. Like, we got to just call it like it is.
You said it in the face of that WrestleVotes report. You were like, he's still a bum. He's still going to be a bum by the end of 2025. And you were right.
And look what happened. The same bullshit reports of like, oh, LA Knight's going to get a... No, he's not. He's not going to get a big push.
That. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We already know how that looks.
But I'm saying, but like, come on. Like, we got to be honest with ourselves. Like, you know, like... And people are saying, I know, and I saw those people that were saying, "Oh, but she's improved." You know, I was like, no, she didn't improve that fucking much. Let's be fucking real. The margin's not that big for to say that she improved. For her to be in a freaking title contender picture, Like
But this is what
let's
they
call it like
do.
it
This
is.
is what they do. Any slight freaking improvement that happens, they want to reward you. That's what they did with Maxine Dupree.
Yeah, you know, and for Maxine, we know what Maxine is doing, right? Like we know where she's at, right? And I try to be more forgivable when it comes to Maxine. Should she be the champion? Should she be IC champion? Absolutely not. But that's a case of, hey, she's just doing her job. But at least Maxine she's trying to improve in the ring. And I think that I've seen that effort. I'm not saying that, oh, she's great. I'm not saying that, but you could tell that somebody who didn't wrestle, she wasn't taking bumps. She's in a situation where it's like, well, she has to do her job because that's what they're telling her to. Raquel Rodriguez, this was somebody that people were high on in NXT, and I have not seen that. I have not seen that big growth. That's just how I feel about it.
I said the name knowing that it was like the bat signal for Danny.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, you could say that she's better, but I'm like, that's not saying much. That's like, you could try to brag or laugh about it. That's not saying much. So it's kind of like, you know, that's like kind of kicking that horse, in my opinion. So it's not like, doesn't do nothing for me. But it's just the fact that, you know, and then who was it? Was it Dion? I got to call out Dion for that ridiculous Kane and Big Show shit that he said. That was insane. That was insane. That was fucking insane. Diesel, Kane, Big Show.
Like Diesel
Really?
was the number one. Diesel was the number one guy in WWE at one time. I don't see a world where
He was a fucking world champion, regardless of what people want to say. Oh, he wasn't. They made him world fucking champion. Kane, 1988. We're gonna act like Kane wasn't one of like the big top stars, and he was one of the top guys for like 10 years after that. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. We're not gonna pretend that Big Show at one point was kind of like a big deal. He was a big deal at some points, you know. Like he even beat Brock Lesnar at one point for the title.
Their yearly try of pushing Big Show back in the early 2000s.
Right? But those guys became world champions. Raquel Rodriguez, I don't see her being a women's champion. You could try all you want. You could try to have her flex her back again, where she has no back muscles at all. You could try all that stuff. There's nothing about her that impresses me. There's nothing about it.
Hey, this is way too long talking about Raquel Rodriguez. I'm sorry, I gotta cut you off.
I'm just saying. No, I want to get that off my
WWE
chest.
SmackDown this week.
I just want to get that off my chest.
SmackDown this week. You had the show last night. It featured Cody Rhodes kicking off the broadcast to address Drew McIntyre. However, he was interrupted by NXT champion Oba Femi, who called out the undisputed champion for looking past him and promised to prove why he is the ruler tonight. Cody did not back down. This proved to be an entertaining opening segment that actually gave us some kind of build to tonight's show. That's nice. More than we got for John Cena's retirement match. Ilya Dragunov had a hell of a matchup, an absolute banger with Tommaso Ciampa. Dragunov bloody nose and all by the end of this matchup as he retained the United States Championship. He was jumped by DIY post-match, and Carmelo Hayes made the save. Lash Legend picked up her first singles win on the main roster over Alexa Bliss. Javon Evans was on SmackDown once again. He got back to his winning ways with a victory over The Miz, arguably his biggest win to date. And the Terra Twins, Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, beat Aleister Black and Zelina Vega in a mixed tag team main event that had a scary ass botch in it. Oh my God, that was scary as fuck. Terra Twins get the win, but I didn't think this was a good match. What did you think?
SmackDown was okay. It had some good, decent performances from people.
SmackDown. I'll tell the truth. SmackDown was fucking carried by Dragunov and Ciampa.
Yeah, it was carried by that, and then the Oba stuff was good too. I thought his promo was really good. He's coming out. Makes him. They made him feel important. So at least they did something with that. Right, and it made Cody did feel small, which is not a surprise. You know, Cody he's used to being bitch slapped. He got bitch slapped by The Rock a few times. No different.
Got bitch slapped by Roman a few times.
Yeah, bitch slapped by Roman a few times. So it's like, yeah, this is what Cody's gonna end up doing. You know, but that was a good segment. That was a good promo. That was a good segment, in my opinion. More so because of Oba. You know, and you know, they're using Evans more. That kind of tells me like, oh, maybe he's gonna be roster bound full time soon. Maybe that's why they didn't put the title on him, I would say. Because they've been using him a lot more. Unless if this has just been more of like building up to Saturday night's main event because he has a match. But that main event, oh my god, that was not good. You know, even though I think, you know, Rhea and Priest, obviously, like when we seen them paired up like last year, you know, they have good chemistry, you know, when they're on screen together and shit like that. But last night it was kind of like I didn't feel that. I didn't feel nothing out of it. But that match itself is just it's rough. It was a rough match. And then that spot, both ladies, Zelina, and I've been saying it, she gotta stop wrestling. Just be a manager. Like, you've been wrestling for how many years now and you still haven't improved? Like, I'm just saying, like,
why are you even doing the code red? That's literally Roxanne's finisher. You don't need to do these moves. If someone else is doing it, then change your move because you don't know how to do it sometimes. Like, you don't know how to execute it very well. And I think like the main thing, I see Volop in the chat who's saying that he was ready to throw down against Cresta over her defense of Zelina. I love Cresta, but I really just feel like she is a very heavy into the cosplay world and that anime, like, and dressing up and stuff. And that's very much akin to what Zelina is. And she has that kind of connection, that kindership with Zelina in that way because of that. Unfortunately for her, though, Zelina Vega has proven to not be a very good person. I'm sorry if this is breaking news to some people, but Zelina Vega has historically treated people badly in the world of wrestling and fans. I tried to put it down to, hey, I said something wrong about Zelina. That's why she blocked me on Twitter. But now I'm at the point where I don't really care anymore because I've come to find out she has blocked multiple people in wrestling media and wrestling fans because they talk about her booking. And she's so goddamn sensitive and does vanity searches and fucking blocks people. This is not a good person. I'm sorry. To me, that's not a good person.
You know, and she could like all that stuff. Hey, you know, and I get it. I like anime. I'm Puerto Rican. She Puerto Rican, but I call it like it is. She's not very good. And if you've been in the business for as long as you have been, you should not look like you're just getting out of wrestling school or still in wrestling school. That's been my problem with Zelina. You could like Zelina. You could like all that stuff. But if you're just not good, then you're not good. And then last night to do some shit like that, I could always commend performers that they want to do moves that they can't pull off. Sometimes it's like, sis, if you can't do it, just don't do it. Just do other things that your strong point is. You know, like Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan was kind of like that, where she would try certain things where it's like, you probably shouldn't try this because you can't pull it off. And if you're not practicing, then you shouldn't be pulling it off. And then she got away from that. Liv got away from that, and she's gotten better at things that what's her strong points. Zelina needs to do that. Like if you're trying to do a code red on somebody who's like 2 feet bigger than you, like you got to make sure you got to clear that shit. And the fact that you didn't clear it, you almost not only broke your shit, you almost broke Rhea's shit too. Both of y'all ladies almost broke y'all necks because of you.
She
Like,
would have got fucking fired if she did that, if she broke Rhea Ripley's neck. Because you are
that's
not
crazy to me. And it's like,
to Rhea Ripley.
Should not you doing shit like that, you should not be not be in the ring. Like you should not be doing, and I don't give a fuck. She could block me too. I've been saying it. I don't give a shit. She could block me too. Hey, you can search me up. I don't give a fuck if she watches this. I'm just saying.
Yep. I agree with Dion. She needs to just stop doing things she can't freaking execute it. If you did it well one time in the ring before the show, do it well 10 times in the ring before the show. Like, come on. Dion saying, I think the wrestlers need more reps in general. Yeah, that is a fine argument, Dion. Just not for Selena Vega. She's been wrestling for fucking 12 years. 12 years. This ain't like we can use that excuse for Maxine Dupree. I've used that excuse for Maxine Dupree. She's not wrestling enough. She needs more reps. But god damn, like it's just too. You can't be doing stuff that you can't really do. Like you gotta actually execute it well. Do it 100% of the time. And we're talking about someone. I've just got a message. The reason why I'm stuttering is because I just got a message from my wifey who just literally tuned in right at this moment. Shout out to my beautiful wife. I can't wait to see her. I'm going to be seeing her next week. And she says, I actually agree with you. She's a cunt and always will be. And this is someone who works in WWE, folks.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe Zelina needs to stream less and take more reps in the ring. That's part of it too. You gotta take the time and do it yourselves. You know how many talent when they go on the road, they find a school or they find somewhere and they take reps, they take bumps. I'm just saying, like you cannot be on TV, right? And I'm not saying that Zelina should be a ring general. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you should not be in the ring and making these kind of mistakes. And if there's something that you can't do, you shouldn't be just doing it. Because like last night, it's one thing to have a botch. People have botches all the time. But when you're in the position where you're basically, when you almost broke your neck, but not only you, but then you almost broke somebody else's neck. It could have been, doesn't even have to be Rhea. It could have been anybody. It's the fact that you're in the ring. Once you're in the ring, the whole point of even wrestling when these performers are in is protect each other. When you do some shit like that, that's reckless. And I'm not saying like she did it on purpose. She didn't do it on purpose. It's just one of those things where if you knew you couldn't do it, it should have never been attempted at all.
Yeah, I totally agree. And sometimes maybe you should, if you're not that good at something, you should try humbling yourself, and you should probably be the nicest person ever if you're not really good at what you're doing, because you will go farther being nice to people and just being effortlessly trying to get to know people and being genuine and being the what you always try to kind of you in your career you've always tried to perceive yourself as just I'm just a small Latina girl from Queens. Like I come from humble beginnings and now I'm here. But why do you act like your shit don't sink though? Like
yeah,
be the humble person who came from the humble beginnings and came from the bottom and now at the top. Don't act like you've always been at the top. That's how her attitude comes off to a lot of people within the business. Fans, she has rubbed people the wrong way regardless, and not enough people talk about that because she's nice to the right people.
That it's true.
But let's go into the John Cena verse, because we got a lot to discuss from John Cena heading into the final matchup tonight. WWE insiders are still hashing out whether the retirement clash of John Cena with Gunther was going to kick off the show. That was a big round of discussion this week. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Cena himself pushed to go on first, and though that idea has puzzled many backstage. Given the massive draw of his retirement matchup and the eternal expectation leaned toward an opener for over a week, but Monday's Raw saw Joe Tessitore hyping a post-show starting right after the main event of John Cena versus Gunther, strongly hinting at a closer. This Saturday night's main event edition feels more like a premium live event than past iterations, complete with a 2-hour pre-show and 1 hour post-show, ditching any strict 2-hour cutoff to let the card breathe. Putting Cena last makes obvious business sense. The belief is that fans tuning in at 8 p.m. Eastern Time will stick around for Cena's exit, maximizing eyes on undercard talents like Obafemi, Javon Evans, Leon Slater, and Sol Ruka, whom Cena once spotlighted. An early slot risks viewers bailing after Cena leaving matches like Cody Rhodes versus Obafemi with zero build, or Bayley versus Sol Ruka, mostly an NXT draw, to smaller crowds. While it would make sense for Cena to go over, the match will be designed to elevate Gunther, so Cena losing is also still in play, mirroring Sting's booked loss last year to pass the torch, diminishing without diminishing the opponent. That was the whole argument heading into Sting's retirement. Gunther's role here isn't just a safe execution. It's about him leveling up through the push and win or lose, while delivering the emotional payoff fans crave from the last time is now. With the sellout gate already rewriting records north of $4 million, WWE could execute a satisfying cap to Cena's 2025 tour and elevate Gunther regardless of who wins or loses. I didn't think about that when, me and you, I feel like we were the trendsetters who were the first people that were like, I think Cena should win his final matchup. And now it's been like the topic of conversation all this week. More people seems to be saying, I think John Cena should win this one. But I didn't hear the argument of this matchup elevating Gunther win or lose. But it really does, because this is his biggest match of his career, because this is probably the most people that's going to be watching watching for a Gunther matchup. Probably there's been massive crowds and massive viewership numbers on Peacock for past WrestleManias when Gunther faced Sami Zayn or Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, or this past WrestleMania where he faced Jey Uso. But as far as like particularly Gunther in the main event and he is in the drawing matchup, this is the biggest match of his career. So yes, he is kind of elevated being in the biggest match of his career, getting more eyes on him. People understand his legacy and what he means to the current WWE. He is elevated due to just being in the match, not just winning it.
Yeah, being part of the match, yeah. But I know it's just winning it. I think that's always overrated when it comes to like, oh yeah, this person needs it more, he needs to win. No, all you gotta do is just put on a great performance, win or lose. That's still gonna elevate somebody. We've seen that numerous of times where two guys get paired up, and then the person who loses ends up becoming more over than the person who actually won it. That's all you really got to do in these matches like that. It's like, when Cena and Austin Theory happened, people were like, oh, Theory should win because he needs it more. They just needed to have a good performance. It didn't even matter if Theory lost. But the fact that he won and it was not good, that freaking, that kind of went downhill for him. So, like, Gunther doesn't necessarily need to win. I mean, he fucking lost to Jey Uso. I'm just saying. So, he don't need to win. And, if you want Cena to have a nice send-off, a win could do it. You're going to have Cena already lost to Dominic. He lost Dominic a few weeks ago. Like, gonna have him lose again. Like, and knowing Cena, like I've been saying, Cena's very unselfish. He probably does want Gunther to win, but I think that this is a point where you need to kind of take like the TK aspect where Sting wanted to lose and TK was like, no, we're gonna put you to win. You deserve this. It kind of needs to do that with Cena, in my opinion, just to have a nice kind of send off.
I literally predicted this on our preview. I may be saying if Cena makes Gunther tap, that would be pretty cool. That would pay off the promo that Gunther put when he said he was going to make Cena give up if Gunther is the one who taps out in the end. And like that, I feel like Cena winning helps out more people, because not only does it help out Cena going out the right way, it helps out the people in the building who are there to see their childhood hero be the hero again. It helps out Gunther because it gives him a storyline to really go after. Where him winning against John Cena, what's the new story being told? That's not a new story. That's the same Gunther story. Gunther wins. Okay, what's next? The world title. Okay, we literally just did that. We did that like twice. Like we did that last year, we did that this year. Like what is the new story? New story, see, he loses, he actually starts at the bottom, and then he becomes more urgent and more desperate to win the Royal Rumble. He becomes an actual person that I can see winning the Royal Rumble because it's part of his story to get back to his spot. At least set him up in that way. And then most of all, it helps out Dominic Mysterio because then Dom can say, I retired John Cena. I beat John Cena. I was the last guy to beat John Cena. I deserve the credit.
Yeah. And I actually like that aspect better just because with Gunther, he wins. All you're going to have to do, all he's going to be doing is like, I retired Goldberg. I retired Cena.
And yeah,
but then it's like you already champion twice already. You already heavyweight champion twice already. Your second title reign, you were the fucking placeholder for Punk. And then Punk lost it in a cash in. So it was like, what do you do with that? Oh, go after Cody? No, nobody wants to see that. No offense. Who wants to see Gunther versus Cody at WrestleMania? No, nobody wants to see that. And I'm not saying that could be both guys have had good performances, but Cody owns Gunther. And maybe you could tell a story off of that, like, oh, he finally gets his win on Cody, but I kind of don't want to see that. So him losing, I think him losing
that's a babyface story as well.
Yeah, but then also it's just I think him losing would create a better story for Gunther to give him something and have a sense of urgency that he needs. I actually wouldn't mind that.
I agree. And like this would be in theory. In theory, I get what you're saying, Dion. He says, I still think Gunther needs to win. He's still rehabbing from his 2025 booking. What is he rehabbing from? He lost to Jey Uso. Guess what? The very next day, who was the biggest heel in the company? It was Gunther because he was getting "you tapped out" chants that he then turned that around and attacked an announcer, and he got the most heat on the Raw after WrestleMania. And then he was in a major matchup at Backlash while Jey Uso was not on that card. Like that means that Gunther got over from losing because he became a bigger heel because of that. Oh, he lost to CM Punk. Well, guess what? He just won a whole tournament. He beat 4 guys in 4 straight matches, and all those matches were the best matches of the tournament. He's been rehabbed for that too. The 2 losses that he had, he's already been rehabbed. He does not need this win in no way. Not to rehab himself, not to help his career. He does not need this win at all. There is not a logical argument that makes sense to everyone why Gunther needs this win. Those losses in 2025 are not that big of it. It's not as big of a deal as it was after. Like after WrestleMania, yeah, the Jey Uso loss, it felt like, oh man, y'all really fucked up Gunther. Y'all made him tap out. He just got heat because of that. The fans got more invested in him, chanting "you tapped out" at him for 3 months after that matchup. He lost to CM Punk though. Yeah, he was off television for a while, and then when he came back, he started having the best matches on the show. He's rehabbed for it. Like there's not. The rehab y'all are talking about. It's already happened. Y'all just didn't realize it.
Pretty much.
But let's talk about. There's been a lot about the surprises that we're gonna get for Saturday night's main event, Josh. And one of them has been some discussion about Vince McMahon. There has been speculation that Vince McMahon could be at WWE Saturday night's main event for John Cena's last match, but it does not look to be the case, at least in the official capacity. Given Cena's longtime association with the former WWE chairman, the speculation that he may appear has been high. As of now, it doesn't seem likely that McMahon will appear in an official capacity for WWE. Fightful Select reports that no sources they've spoken to have been briefed on an appearance by McMahon. There is, of course, always the possibility that McMahon could attend and remain off camera. There's no word on that, and it's not clear if people in WWE would be briefed about such a thing. McMahon has been absent from WWE both officially and backstage since he was forced out of the company in January 2024 due to the lawsuit filed by Janelle Grant. Grant made allegations of sex trafficking, abuse, sexual assault against McMahon, and WWE is a party in the lawsuit as well. McMahon has denied the allegations but resigned from TKO and WWE in the immediate aftermath while the lawsuit is still ongoing. While his in-ring career might be coming to an end, Cena is set to remain with WWE for the next 5 years at least, in a different capacity, it seems. During his recent interview with Tom Rinaldi on WWE's YouTube channel, Cena revealed that he has signed a new contract with the company and he will serve as a promotions ambassador for the next 5 years. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, you also had Dave Meltzer, who stated that Cena's new deal basically puts him with the company through 2030. So this new deal doesn't expire until 2030. So Cena is going to be sticking around in the company in some form, some fashion for a little bit longer. John Cena has been vocal about contributing to the company even after his in-ring career, and it will be interesting to see how this new role and his services moving forward will be. In also a new interview, Cena also addressed his rivalry with Brock Lesnar and the matchup that they had this year. He also talked about winning championship gold during this final run. On the flip side, he was, of course, destroyed by Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza, and he spoke about these moments in his new interview with Chris Van Vliet. On winning number 17, he says, "I want to choose my words carefully." I think I have been appreciative for quite some time for that because I love Rick. Super mentor to me, always a great guy to me, and I love him. I meant what I said in the press conference at Rumble. This is another thing, like, I never wasted a second. We want you to do the press conference. How do I make these moments meaningful? I want to win 17 so I can shake the hand of the performer that wins 18. So what it meant to me personally was, hey, youngins, one of them is going to be you. You better get working because I don't want to be in the ground when 18 happens. I want to shake somebody's hand. And something that's impossible is now possible. So that's what it means to me. Hopefully, by my actions, this is possible. Holy hell, this guy wants to shake my hand when I pass it. I can't wait to do that. On winning the Intercontinental Championship, he said, "What is special about that is I was able to work with Dom Mysterio 3 of my last 4 matches. And gosh, that was really special. And honestly, the most special thing about winning it was being able to lose it how I did. That was really cool. I got to experiment with the U.S. title and create an open challenge. And before that, I got to experiment with the U.S. title and turn it into a spinner belt. Turn it into a spinner belt twice. I was given what we in the company view as a secondary achievement and was relentless in making a primary objective. The guy on his way out, I said something in passing. I'm like, that late IC title run, just like Stone Cold had, you don't touch that stuff at the end. You're a champion. You're of this pedigree. You don't mess around with secondary objectives. In Boston, I made it something and it did. It's a nice win. And then the person who had it before me certainly gave value to it, but him beating me again for it and now having it gives him even more value. Then on the Brock Lesnar match and why it was so quick. He said, well, I guess quick is perspective because my frame didn't feel like it was. Again, I love the public's ability to weigh in. You have this guy who's returning, who absolutely looks like he hasn't aged a day, moves like it. He can split his pants and still move like a ballerina, slip on his pyro and do a ninja roll and be okay. He's a beast. It's his first time back. I've been in this seat before. It's like I'm always in the seat when Brock comes back. Rock after Miami. Who's the next guy? SummerSlam with Roman. Here he comes again after he beats Taker for the streak. I've sat in this seat before. You have to figure out who gets the shine that night. And if in his return, again, only my perspective, this attraction where we are going to build until he goes into the sunset, which I think in Minnesota, creatively, it's very soon. To create a mountain to climb for someone, you have to build the mountain. I'm on my way out. It's not like it's gonna hurt me, but I'm a valuable commodity, and it's a great main event. See these two titans for the last time, and it's okay. Sometimes your team gets blown out. We were first on the program. I did the best I could. We all did the best we could to make it a competitive fight into the middle. People forget I was in that arena when Brock fell down for the first time on a shoulder tackle, and then I was able to give them all the stuff. They were into it, and then just a bunch of gratuitous F5s. That's how you build Brock. So are you buying John Cena's reasoning for why he had to be beat by Brock Lesnar so fast at WrestlePalooza was to build up Brock Lesnar? Oh my God. I think Cena went on a Hall of Fame run of dumb, robotic, pre-prepared answers in all of his interviews this week.
Yeah. I mean, in regards to the Brock Lesnar stuff, I mean, he was basically saying the same shit that the company was saying. Oh, you know, we gotta build up Brock Lesnar to be this monster, to be this beast. Isn't Brock Lesnar that every single fucking time when he comes back? What buildup do you need with this guy? It's Brock Lesnar, you know. The only thing, I mean, you know, if we're talking about on TV, screen character, whatever the case may be, right? He's already a massive presence every time he comes out. I mean, what do you need to build up? There's nothing you need to build up. And then as for the match, I mean, the match was bad because the guy does two moves. It's not complaining about two moves. You could talk about, oh, well, it's like, no, I don't need to see 20 F5s. It's not that impressive. You want to talk about somebody killing their finisher move? That's Brock Lesnar because it means nothing every time he does it. That's all he does. That's all he fucking does. German and a fucking F5. What's impressive about that? He looks impressive for his age because he's probably on the juice, but it's not impressive about the guy. You don't need to build him up. Like, you don't need to do that. So I didn't buy that shit one bit.
Yo, Josh is wild. He's on the juice.
He definitely is. Like, there's no way that shit's
You're
natural.
not lying. You're definitely not lying. He is definitely on the juice. Like, that is clear as day to anyone. But here we are. That's what's next for John Cena as far as being an ambassador and his interview with Chris Van Vliet. But if you notice during that interview when he talked about the Brock Lesnar and building him up, he said we're building him up until he rides out into the sunset. And everybody was like, wait, what are you talking about, John? What are you talking about exactly? And that brings us to the next report. Former WWE champion John Cena recently suggested during his interaction on Chris Van Vliet that Brock Lesnar would wrestle his final match in Minnesota, the place where his wrestling career started over 2 decades ago. And this came after WWE already announced Minneapolis as the host of SummerSlam 2026. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer provided an update on this. The veteran journalist stated that he has not been able to confirm if SummerSlam 2026 has been locked in for the final match for Brock Lesnar's career. However, he did state that Lesnar's name has come up during discussions for long-term plans for 2026, which also involves retirement runs for AJ Styles and Chris Jericho, provided Y2J returns to the company. Meltzer then clarified that out of all 3 names mentioned, only AJ Styles appears to have firm plans in place to retire next year. For those unaware, the Phenomenal One announced on the Crown Jewel pre-show that 2026 would be his final year as a professional wrestler. As for Brock Lesnar, the Beast has been used as an attraction since his return to WWE television at SummerSlam this year. Lesnar has gone on to squash Cena at WrestlePalooza before successfully teaming with Brock Lesnar, with Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, and Drew McIntyre for the War Games match at Survivor Series and got the win there. So, what do you think about the possibility of Brock Lesnar retiring in 2026, potentially with a retirement match at SummerSlam 2026? And how likely do you think that's going to happen? From 0 to 100, how likely Brock Lesnar retires in 2026?
I would say 50%. As long as the company feels like he's, they want him on TV, they're going to put him on TV. So I would say 50%. And as long as they're paying him the money, they're going to pay him, he's going to keep showing up. As far as what actually happens with him, I personally don't care. If he retires, he retires. Even if he doesn't have a match, good riddance. That's all. And before anybody says anything about how I feel about Brock Lesnar, I felt like this last few years about Brock. He just doesn't do nothing for me. Like he doesn't. I don't think he's a need. In my opinion, he's not a need for what they do in WWE programming. Just really don't care that much. But they want to have him a send off. What, you're gonna have him have another Roman Reigns match, and Roman could finally retire him for good, put him down like Gold Yeller? Sure, let's do that.
I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Let Roman retire that bum. I am with it. Dion suggesting Gunther at his final WrestleMania, Brock versus Oba of Braun at SummerSlam for retirement. Who would you pick to be
over-colluded?
Huh?
That's over.
I don't think that's happening, but I think that's a good idea, at least.
No, it's a good idea. I don't think Brock wants to work with Oba.
I don't think Brock wants to work with any of these young niggas.
He don't.
I think Gunther is definitely going to be in the plans because that was planned before his hiatus in 2023.
Yeah. Besides that, obviously, I think my choice would be Roman, but I don't know what the story with that. I don't know, because Brock, we're so used to Brock being in and out. So even if he never shows up again, it's kind of like, all right, good riddance, Brock. Like,
yeah, I don't think it's going to be a situation like Cena where he has like a formal retirement tour and an announced retirement match. I think it's going to be like implied and maybe talked about the weekend of the show, but it's not going to be a part of the build-up because that's not the character that Brock Lesnar is.
It's not the character, but I think also personally, Brock is kind of a private kind of person. I don't see Brock being a guy that he would like being celebrated or showered. I just think he's a guy who minds his business. What he has to go, he goes in to do his job and then goes back home. That's the kind of guy Brock Lesnar is. He's not the let's have retirement tour, let's celebrate the guy kind of guy. It just wouldn't fit him. Even character wise, personally wise, it really wouldn't fit him.
All right, WWE is preparing for a significant update for SmackDown in 2026 as the show is expected to return to a 3-hour format. Internal discussions indicate that the roster additions and creative adjustments are being planned to address concerns about the brand's lackluster 2025 run, according to Body Slam Plus. The outlet notes that WWE is expected to give the SmackDown roster a little bit of a boost once the expansion takes effect. The 3-hour format is expected to resume at the beginning of 2026. Sources cited in the report acknowledged that WWE is aware of fan feedback regarding SmackDown's presentation throughout 2025. Company officials are said to be evaluating both talent and creative direction to make the weekly broadcast more engaging. Fan reactions have highlighted growing concern about SmackDown's 2025 creative decision. Despite some good episodes and moments scattered throughout the year, most of the show has been quote-unquote flat. WWE's plans changes suggest a renewed focus on strengthening the show's overall identity ahead of an expanded schedule. It is official, though. It is coming. January 2nd, WWE SmackDown will return to the 3-hour format, as announced on last night's SmackDown. It was reported last month that WWE was planning to move back to a 3-hour format, and Michael Cole revealed the news on Friday night's show. The move mirrors the start of 2025, when SmackDown went to 3 hours at the start of this year, and it returned to 2 hours in July. It is not yet confirmed the 3-hour move will be permanent or again reverted to 2 hours in the back half of 2026. The first 3 hours WWE SmackDown of the new run will take place once again on January 2nd. I don't believe any of this shit. It's going to be the same shitty SmackDown that we had at the beginning of 2025. 3 hours, adding an hour, and then giving us nothing but uncreative slop like he did at the beginning of 2025. I have no faith that SmackDown's going to get better.
Me either. Especially when you're making it 3 hours again. When it was 3 hours, it was rough. And went back to 2 hours, we think, hey, it's going to get better. And no. Still didn't get better. It didn't get better. It had its moments. Right? I mean, recently, SmackDown hasn't been as bad. But 3 hours again, you don't have the roster for it. That's the problem. You don't have like the people. And then when you did it the first time, 3 hours, that was the problem. It was like we were getting a 2 hour show. And then the last hour it was like, what do we do? How do we fill this in? How do we do that? There are things
basically the 3 hour format was a 2 hour SmackDown where everything is 5 minutes longer than it needs to be. It was never like anything like change, really. It just stretched things out to be ridiculously longer than it really needed to be.
Yeah, and the only people that would probably benefit from this is like maybe like a Dragunov, where it's like, oh shit, we could get a longer matches with the man. He'd be killing it. That's about it. It's just 3 hours. Shit, you know why it's going back to 3 hours, right? Because USA is like, we need our money. That's why back to 3 hours. We definitely we need the money. So like, can we go back to 3 hours, please? That's why it's going back to 3
hours. We got a report on a few stars here as well, but let's read a couple of the super chat donations that we got here. First up, from Dion Jenkins. He says, didn't watch SmackDown last night, just saw highlights. 3 things. They don't need 3 hours. Yes. Brand split, it needs to end. Also, yes. And Rhea and Zelina, woof. Also, yes to that. 3 yeses for you, sir. Yeah, that was rough. That was rough, Rhea and Zelina. We got another super chat donation. Thank you so much to Dion. Thank you so much to Valab, who says, man, Ilya going to lose his back carrying SmackDown, especially when it goes to 3 hours next month. Yeah, like you said, the highlights, the Money Boys is going to benefit is Ilya. No, he's not. He's gonna have to carry more. He's gonna have to be doing more. Like the
benefit me. I mean, more so benefit me because I'm like,
you're still getting a great Ilya Dragunov match. You got a great Ilya Dragunov match on a 2 hour spread. It does not. That's not improvement. It's the same thing that was great on the 2 hours. It's great on the 3 hours. The one division that was helped out by it going 3 hours, though, I will admit, in 2025, despite my hatred for those 3 hour SmackDowns, it did help the tag team division. It gave us at least one tag team matchup, and it established guys like the Motor City Machine Guns, DIY in their heel turn, Fraxium coming on board, Street Profits being revived. It helped those guys out a lot for the extra hour because the tag team division was given a consistent focus on SmackDown. So I'm hoping that's what it goes back to with that. That's the real winner of 3 hour SmackDown is, once again, the tag team division feels revived again.
Yeah, you could also have 2 tag team matches. You could kind of spread it out and have two tag team matches. Because you got to do something with not only with the tag team, but it's like, as long as your main tag team program is Wyatt, Six, and the MFTs. I mean, that's rough TV, no matter what. So it's like, gotta do something with that tag team. You got too many good teams, especially when SmackDown does have the stronger tag team division. You have too many teams for these guys to like not be used. Just do that.
Agreed there. All right, we got a big update on a few stars from Monday Night Raw real quickly here. LA Knight was reportedly battling illness during this week's Monday Night Raw. As noted, the former WWE United States champion was all over Monday's episode, but that was due to the fact that he wasn't really originally supposed to be on Monday's episode due to basically being ill. He was, of course, written off of the show at the end with the tsunami on top of the car. According to Fightful Select, sources indicated that Knight was dealing with an unsuspected illness. Details on the illness and whether he's made it through the other side aren't yet known. Bodyslam.net then had a separate report on the now former two-time WWE United States champion following his loss to Logan Paul on Raw. 2025 has been a mostly up and down year for Knight, and that's reportedly expected to change soon. According to the report, despite some recent losses, Knight is still being viewed as a top player in WWE. Additionally, WWE sources have informed Body Slam Plus that 2026 will be a much better year for the 43-year-old wrestler. Body Slam Plus reports that with Monday night's main event angle on WWE Raw, LA Knight is being positioned as one of the top baby faces in WWE now that he's been feuding with the Vision. Monday night's show saw Knight come to the aid of WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio following an attack by the Vision. LA Knight then faced Logan Paul. He lost after the mass assailant attacked him, and following the match, the Vision continued their assault with that tsunami on top of the car. But then Bodyslam.net also reports that Knight's involvement with the Vision angle is expected to grow his crowd reactions in a positive way. Additionally, WWE is reportedly aware of the big reactions Knight has been getting and wants to be playing the long game with the megastar. Whether or not this involves Knight eventually finally winning the WWE World Title run that has eluded him his entire career remains to be seen. But someone who might be in line for a world title run is Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker has been heavily featured on WWE Raw over the last couple of weeks, and WWE has been building him up as the next breakout star over the past several months. The unpredictable badass has been positioned as a top star after he joined the Vision earlier this year, and he challenges CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship on the first episode of Monday Night Raw next year. According to Body Slam Plus, Breakker has caught the eye of many higher-ups who view him as the next true big star of the company. The report claims that WWE's top brass view the former Intercontinental Champion as the second coming of Roman Reigns and the face of the promotion for years to come. While Bron Breakker is set to challenge CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship on the January 5th Monday Night Raw, he is also reportedly the front runner to win the men's Royal Rumble match in Saudi Arabia later that month. Breakker took over the Vision when he betrayed Seth Rollins back in October. This was done because Seth suffered a shoulder injury during his match with Cody Rhodes in Perth. According to Body Slam Plus, plans for a program between Rollins and the Vision have been discussed but are not locked in at the moment, and it all depends on the timing of Seth's return to WWE TV. However, the company is hoping for Seth to return sooner rather than later. So a pair of reports from Body Slam Plus, I will say about LA Knight, that read so much like Finn Balor will head a big singles push in 2025. I was like, we got our new Finn Balor, because I don't believe jack and shit that LA Knight is going to get pushed better in 2026. As far as Bron Breakker, that one was more of a, well, duh. Yes, they should view him as the next breakout star. I'm happy to hear that they do, but it's very clear that he's being positioned as such for the last year. So not much of news there. But what do you think about these two separate reports with LA Knight and Bron Breakker? And what do you think about LA Knight's prospects following him being written off on Raw this week?
What was kind of telling is in the report they were saying that, oh yeah, that the higher up started to notice the reaction. Have you guys not seen the reaction the last 3 years for LA Knight? Like, who are we fooling? Like, who are we fooling? You know, the guy's been over for the last few years. This is nothing new. Like, obviously, there's a disconnect between him and the higher ups. They don't want to push him. I can only speculate certain things. I don't know for sure, but I do know that he rubs people the wrong way, and I think that's kind of preventing him from moving up. Because I don't buy the whole age thing. You know, he's 43 years old. Yeah, he's old, but then it's like CM Punk is old. He's pushing 50, and he's currently the world champion. You know, freaking John Cena was a champion this year, and he's close to 50 as well. So I don't think the age thing matters. I don't think that plays a factor. But to pretend, oh, we just noticed this now, it's a crock of shit, and I don't think it goes anywhere for LA Knight. You know, he obviously wants more. Any individual who feels like they deserve more, he has every right to feel that way. If it rubs people the wrong way, it is what it is. But if he feels like he wants to do better, he wants to elevate himself, you're gonna rub people the wrong way by doing that. I just don't believe the report. As far as Bron Breakker, I do agree the same thing where it was like, well, duh. And you should feel that way for a guy who's not even 30 yet. So, I mean, you know, if that's what they want to do with Bron Breakker, you know, hearing some of the stuff was kind of more like not only confirmation, but it was like, all right, maybe finally things could happen for the kid. Especially they've been pushing this January 5th episode of Raw. You know, maybe it happens then. I don't know. I just, you know, if it's something that they feel they need to I think they need to pull the trigger more on Bron than LA Knight, to be honest with you. Bron's the future. He's more of the future. LA Knight is getting to a point where it's like, if he gets the title, then what? You know, what do you do with him? You know?
I mean, he's got a whole bunch of hot feuds that they can go to, but it just doesn't seem like they want to. They could come up with something great for LA Knight as champion, but it just doesn't seem like they are very motivated to do so. So we'll talk more about that in the weeks and months to come, because we're gonna see if this report is true, unlike that Finn Balor one. Breakdown time, as we're talking about the Masked Man. And I say break down the walls of the Masked Man, because the men's War Games matchup at WWE Survivor Series had a mystery hooded man. The Masked Man once again made his presence felt this past Monday on Raw, attacking Rey Mysterio and LA Knight. The rumor mill has been abuzz with speculations about the identity of the Masked Man. While WWE has not yet revealed his face, Austin Theory is the most likely person behind the mask. Media reports have also suggested that two different talents played the Masked Man this past Monday on Raw. With Chris Jericho increasingly likely to leave the AEW when his deal expires and join WWE, some have gone as far as suggesting that Y2J might be the assailant. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer shot down this suggestion, stating that there is 0% chance of the Masked Man being Jericho. Jericho is currently signed to All Elite Wrestling. However, he has been absent from weekly television since April. Amid his absence, media reports have repeatedly speculated about the veteran returning to WWE once his deal is done with All Elite Wrestling.
Well, this is, I guess you can say this was kind of a Jera update, a Jera news. Kind of. That's the closest we'll get on this episode. Travis Scott, someone we don't want to see show back up in WWE, and he won't. Travis Scott was featured in several high-profile moments this year. He was, of course, along with The Rock and John Cena at Elimination Chamber and helped Cena get the win at WrestleMania 41. Scott was reportedly set to team with Logan Paul and John Cena for a tag team matchup against Cody Rhodes and the Usos at Money in the Bank. However, that never happened, and the rapper essentially vanished from the company. WWE reportedly had a falling out with Travis Scott, leading to the company scrapping its plans with the rapper. Recently, Cena appeared on Chris Van Vliet's Insight podcast, where he was asked about what could have been with The Rock and Travis Scott. The 48-year-old said, "Who cares? It doesn't matter. We could talk about what could have been until the cows come home." Cena, you fucking suck. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer touched upon this topic. He claimed that several people in WWE talked very negatively about Scott, adding that the split was bad and that no one wanted to discuss him. With plans for a tag team match involving Cena and Scott scrapped, the last real champion ultimately tagged with Logan Paul and to take on Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. That was the night of R-Truth's shocking return to help Cody and Jay pick up the victory to set up Cody versus Cena in the eventual street fight at SummerSlam. This is probably going to be like one of those forgotten stories, and then years later, they're going to do a documentary on how they had a falling out with one of the biggest rappers in hip-hop.
I mean, it'll be funny, to be honest with you, because I mean, the whole thing is just funny because people to this day, they still put the blame on Travis Scott for ruining that main event. I think he's partly to blame. I don't think he's completely to blame. But it's very clear that Travis Scott, he's not about the wrestling business. I don't even think he's really a fan. He was doing, it felt like he was doing somebody a favor. But even when you kind of look at everything about it, he rubbed people the wrong way. You know, the first time, you know, when he was on Raw on that Netflix, he's coming down the ramp, smoking weed. Obviously, it was funny for us. It's hilarious. But then it's like, damn, bro, you just didn't give a fuck. Like,
best moment of the Netflix premiere.
Yeah. Or it's just like, damn, you just didn't give a fuck. And then, you know, the Elimination Chamber, you pop somebody's eardrum. You pop the champion's eardrum. You know, for something that you weren't supposed to do to begin with. You know, so he's obviously rubbed people the wrong way, and then apparently he no-showed the time they were supposed to make the announcement of like the official match. Apparently he no-showed.
I didn't hear that, but yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, he's a big star. He's a big star, and they thought he was a fan like that, but he wasn't really a fan. Like, we had never heard of Travis Scott being a wrestling fan before this.
Oh, so it was Logan Paul in his podcast. Logan Paul spoke about it. So apparently, like the night they were supposed to make the announcement of like it was supposed to be like Travis, whoever, like the team. Apparently, he no-showed. Apparently, Travis Scott no-showed. Like, that's what ended up happening. Again, this comes from Logan Paul, so who knows if it's even true or not. Yeah, so. It wouldn't surprise me, though, honestly.
There you go. There you have it. Logan Paul, he was a fun journey in wrestling this year. WWE, though, they'll be making the journey to Italy next year, Josh, as they're going to be doing a PLE in the country in 2026. The WWE's next international PLE is set to take place in Italy for next May. According to a new report, WrestleVotes Radio on Fightful Select has confirmed that the company will host its May PLE in Italy. The news that WWE is headed to Italy does not come as a major shock, as Nick Khan noted in September that the European country would host a PLE. He said, almost half of our premium live events take place outside of the United States now. We believe WWE is a global property. We believe the results of these shows, both in terms of attendance and viewership locally and globally, have been significant. We have seen year-over-year increases for viewership on each one. The name of the PLE is not yet confirmed, but the traditional May PLE is Backlash. The planned date for now is May 31st, and that will make it the first PLE following WrestleMania 42. The report notes that the name is up for debate, and Backlash is the internal placeholder name. No word on the venue as of yet, and WWE's last main roster PLE to take place internationally was WWE Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia in October, and the next is the Royal Rumble, which will be held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on January 31st. So, some good news if you like international PLEs, but we got to move over to the C-level WWE shows now, Josh, which means WWE Evolve, which means TNA Impact. It means WWE NXT. Starting off with Evolve, the show features Shawn Legacy picking up a win over Tate Wilder to become the number one contender for the WWE Evolve Men's Championship. Layla Diggs beat the American Cream, Busty Rhodes, Thicky, the Wagon Steamboat, the Total Package, Flex Cougar, and you can look, but you can't touch, Thicky Bella, Nikita, Big Cat, Lions. After a distraction from Mason Holiday, Drake Monroe of LFG made his debut, scored a victory over Dante Chen, and Timothy Thatcher announced a 5-on-5 gauntlet match that will pit the WWE ID versus WWE PC to determine who is better next week. TNA Impact. The show featured Danny Luna beating Indy Hartwell in a bloody dog collar matchup. Main event that was really good. I really enjoyed that one. Lexis King picked up a win over Matt Cardona to earn Team NXT the advantage in the 5-on-5 steel cage matchup next week. Post-match, King injured the arm of Cardona to take him out of the matchup until Steve Macklin came out to make the save. Frankie Kazarian kicked off the show with the King's speech, only to be interrupted by Mike Santana, who announced that he will face Kazarian for the TNA World Championship coming up at Genesis in January. The Righteous interrupted TNA Tag Team Champions, the Hardys, as they were doing a promo and let their intentions be known in TNA. The System scored a victory over Sinner and Saint. Cedric Alexander beat BDE, Jason Hodge, Jake Something, Ryan Nemeth, and Desmond Xavier to become the number one contender for the TNA X Division Championship on the show as well. And then over in NXT, we had NXT Deadline last Saturday. The show featured Oba Femi defeating Ricky Saints in a very good opener to win the NXT Championship. Post-match, they showed respect to one another. Ethan Page picked up a win over Mr. Iguana to retain the NXT North American Championship. Izzy Dame beat Tatum Paxley in a solid grudge match, while Kendall Gray defeated Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, Jordan Grace, and Sol Ruka in an awesome Women's Iron Survivor Challenge, while Javon Evans on the men's side redeemed himself from last year by scoring the game-winning fall in the final seconds to win a great men's Iron Survivor Challenge. And that set the stage for NXT this week to close the show, as Javon was celebrating, Oba Femi came out, and then to close everything, you had Tony D'Angelo made his return to NXT, and he laid out Javon Evans as we closed the show with him staring down with a man that he has beaten before, the champion, Oba Femi. And that sets the stage for NXT this week. On Tuesday, the show featured Oba Femi kicking off the program as the new two-time NXT champion. Femi was interrupted by Ricky Saints, who wanted a rematch. But Javon Evans interrupted both men as he wanted his title shot early tonight instead of at New Year's Evil. After Ricky Saints tried to question his friend's decision, it led to Ricky and Javon goading Oba into this matchup. And in the matchup, Oba Femi defeated Javon Evans to retain the NXT Championship in an excellent main event, thanks to Ricky Saints himself turning heel to cost Evans the matchup. Shiloh Hill made his in-ring debut with a win over Lexis King. Sol Ruka picked up a victory over Ren Sinclair. Post-match, Fatal Influence came out to trash talk Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair, leading to a brawl with Fatal Influence standing tall. And Kalani Jordan beat Jordan Grace in a good opener to the show. A lot went down with NXT this week. First, what did you think about Deadline and the winners of the Iron Survivor being Kendall Gray and Javon Evans?
I thought Deadline was it was better than more Survivor Series.
Definitely.
Better pace, better, we had better matches. As far as the Iron Survivor match, Who did I have winning? Both my picks were wrong anyway. Wrong as fuck at that. But both matches were good.
I wasn't much better. I botched. I've been the biggest Kendall Gray fan here in wrestling media in general, and I did not root for Kendall. I did not predict Kendall Gray was going to win that matchup. I should be ashamed of myself.
Damn. So I don't feel too bad for picking Jordan.
Exactly.
But but I mean, the shows are actually really good. You know, I was more surprised that Ricky and Oba opened, but then obviously seeing what ended up happening kind of made sense. Javon Evans winning, it was a cool moment, but it was just more angle based. I thought that it would lead to like build up, or New Year's Evil. Evans finally get.
Yeah, I thought he would win at New Year's Evil because he's gotten they did the stat line. I don't know if you heard it on commentary during the Oba and Javon matchup. Javon is now 0-10-1 in title matches. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's like also that's kind of not even a good stat to even say on TV. Well, why would you do that to the poor kid? 0-10? Damn, bro. Damn. Like 0-10. Oh.
0-10. 0-11 really, because the 1 is a tie. So he's 0-11 in title matches.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's just that I thought a lot of things would happen later, more down. I didn't expect Ricky to turn heel this soon, but it happened. It's not necessarily saying it's a bad thing. It could be good because Ricky's a better heel, no matter what. He's a better heel, so I think at least it's like, all right, I would kind of prefer that. So I don't even care if it was fast forward. I don't care. It only took like 2 days for that to happen. But overall, like I said, the deadline was better than Survivor Series. That's kind of shameful, in a way. It's kind of shameful.
Final news notes from WWE this week. WWE LFG is coming back for a 3rd season, and they announced that 2 current stars are going to be 2 of the mentors for this season of LFG. They announced that Natalya and Kevin Owens, according to this new report, will be mentors or coaches on the new season of LFG. Both Fightful, PW Insider Elite, and Sports Illustrated all reported this. The first season of LFG had The Undertaker, Mickie James, Bubba Ray Dudley, and Booker T as mentors. Michelle McCool replaced James for season 2. The reports do not clarify whether Owens and Natalya will be replacing existing coaches or added to the team. Owens has been out of WWE action due to a neck injury he has been dealing with. He does not have a time frame for his return as of yet. Natalya, meanwhile, debuted her Natty Neidhart character in a vignette on Raw at the start of the month. The 3rd season began filming last week, and it is expected to premiere sometime in 2026. The season 2 finale aired on October 6th, and both seasons have aired on A&E. So congrats to Kevin Owens and Natalya being a part of LFG season 3. And I want to give a special shout out to Bayley. Bayley ran her Lotus Stone training camp last week, where it earned high marks from those within WWE, according to a new report. The training camp took place last week with independent talent. WrestleVotes Radio on Fightful Select reports that they spoke with people within WWE about the matter, and the report said that she got heavy praise for the camp. One staff member said it's incredible to see what impact someone has when they pour their heart into it, and that's what she did. As noted, John Cena attended the camp to observe. In addition, Charlotte Flair, Lyra Valkyria, and Ivy Nile helped Bayley out with the camp, as well as Liv Morgan helped those who attended the camp with meal prep. And Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp spoke with a number of talent who praised Bayley and the team that ran the camp. Sources in the company told Sapp that they were all in on allowing WWE talent to help out. So good on them. Good on them. I had to shout out Bayley because that's really cool what she did for those young indie stars. So good on her.
Some of them I worked with that were there, so I thought that was pretty cool to see. Some of them I worked with.
That's very nice.
So
yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Bayley deserves a lot more credit. Unfortunately, I don't think she's leaving WWE. Despite us all wanting her to. But we've made it to Chrissy Love's favorite time of the show. Best, worst moments and match of the week. Josh, what was your best and worst from this past week?
The best this week. I'm gonna go with best of the week. I'm gonna have to go with Winter is Coming. I thought the episode was great, but then we had some great matches, not only from the C2. We had new tag team champions for the ladies. Overall great show. Worst of the week, easily for me. Worst of the week, Matt Hardy.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. That makes sense. That's be my worst of the week. It's Matt Hardy. Definitely Matt Hardy. I mean, I could give it to both Matt and Dax, but yeah, Matt more than Dax for sure. And then my best of the week, I gave it to John Cena. Celebration of John Cena, so he deserves my best of the week. AEW had a great week as well, but I got to get my John Cena love on. All right. What was your moment of the week, Josh?
Moment of the week. For me, I would say, honestly, from last night, Oba's promo. Because I thought for a guy who's, his kind of like his first, I mean, obviously they showed him in the crowd previously, like from WTV, from the main roster, they showed him in the crowd, but usually doesn't get that reaction. But the fact that he came out in his NXT entrance and they let him do all that stuff, and then he had a kick-ass promo. They let him do the walk, like his stride. And the fact that he had a great promo, I mean, WWE, guys, you got something in front of you. This is a moneymaker, in my opinion.
Moment of the week, I will give it to let's give it to my girl Kendall Gray winning the women's Iron Survivor. I got my Kendall Gray stocks and I made some money this week because everybody was buying Kendall Gray stocks. All right, Josh, you called me out on the In the Weeds chat earlier this week when I talked about best matches of the week, saying that I don't usually have 10, I usually have 15. You were correct. 15, Io Sky and Kairi Sane. 14, Babes of Wrath versus Timeless Love Bombs. 13, Bishamon versus War Dragons from World Tag League. What is this? 12, we got Kazuchika Okada and Jack Perry from Winter is Coming. We got 11, Mascara Dorada versus Claudio Castagnoli from Collision. We got at 10, Gabe Kidd and Yota Tsuji versus Knockout Brothers from World Tag League. 9, Samoa Joe and Eddie Kingston from Winter is Coming. 8, Men's Iron Survivor from Deadline. 7, Obafemi and Javon Evans from NXT. 6, Mystico and Soberano Jr. from CMLL last night. Number 5, Ilya Dragunov and Tommaso Ciampa from SmackDown. 4, Women's Iron Survivor from Deadline. 3, TMDK versus Bishamon from World Tag League. Takeshita and Moxley, number 2 from Collision. And of course, number 1, Speedball Mike Bailey, Kyle Fletcher, Winter is Coming. Josh.
Number 3, I'm going to go with Samoa Joe, Eddie Kingston from Collision. Wait, no. I said Collision. Winter is Coming from Wednesday. Number 2 is from Collision, Mox and Takeshita. And number 1, easily, Mike Bailey. Kyle Fletcher, easily.
That's one of the best matches of the year. I've even added it to the Heaties for a match of the year. I added that real quick. All right, final prediction, rapid fire, because we got to do 3 shows in 3 minutes. Let's see if we can do it. AEW Collision. It starts at 4:30 p.m. 4:30 p.m. And what a lineup we got from Cardiff, Wales. For
the Continental Classic. It's jet speed going at it. Kevin Knight, Speedball Mike Bayley. Who you got, Josh?
I think I'm going Kevin Knight.
Yeah, I'll go with Kevin Knight here as well. Claudio Castagnoli and Nosuke Takeshita, CMLL heavyweight champion versus IWGP heavyweight champion. Who you got?
I got Takeshita.
I got Takeshita. And you know what? I'm gonna go with Claudio. I'm gonna go with Claudio here because Takeshita's not gonna win all of his tournament matches, and this feels like out of the people he has left, he has Orange, he has Masquerade Dorada, and this one feels like the one he will lose.
Well, yeah, I would say yeah. I'll stick with Takeshita. I ain't gonna switch. I can't do that.
Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander versus Sisters of Sin. I'll go with Hayter and Statlander.
Hayter and Statlander.
Mark Briscoe versus Daniel Garcia, TNT Championship. Mark Briscoe. Swerve Strickland, Josh Alexander. I'm going with Swerve Strickland.
Swerve.
Then tomorrow morning, NJPW World Tag League final show. We'll go very quickly through the preliminary matches. We got El Phantasmo will defend the NJPW World Television Championship on this show against a mystery opponent. We got 5-on-5 action with Hontai going at each other in a 5-on-5 battle. Then we got Despy leading the team against the House of Torture. We got 6-man tag team action as it's going to be the War Dog and unaffiliated combo versus House of Torture. Then we got over here, it's going to be Hiroshi Tanahashi, Shota Umino, and Yuya Uemura versus Knockout Bros and Dake Nagai. We got David Finlay and Hiromu Takahashi versus United Empire in a rematch from World Tag League. And then we got 6-man, never open weight 6-man tag team championships. House of Torture versus Toriyano, Master Wato, and Yo. Who you got, Josh?
This is for the tournament, right? Oh no, this is
for a 6-man tag team
titles. Shit. I think House of Torture wins.
Yeah, House of Torture probably wins. They always. Then in the final of the World Tag League, this should be freaking fantastic. I can't wait to say this is part of my matches of the week next week. Gabe Kidd and Yota Tsuji versus TMDK, Zack Sabre Jr. and Roye Uyowa. I'm going with TMDK for the win.
I'm going with I'm going with Zack Sabre and his team.
Zack and Oyowa for the win for both of us. And then, of course, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be here, will you, to watch it all. The final match of John Cena, Saturday night's main event. We got Bayley, one-on-one with Sol Ruka. Who you got?
Bayley.
I got Sol Ruka. Bayley would be the only one from the main roster to lose. Then we got AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Leon Slater and Javon Evans. I'm going with the World Tag Team Champions.
Tag Team Champions.
Then we got the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, undisputed WWE Champion versus NXT Champion Oba Femi. Who you got, Josh?
I think Cody wins.
I think Oba wins by DQ when Drew McIntyre hits him with a Claymore to get under Cody's skin to make him lose a match. Then
I wouldn't mind that.
In John Cena's final match, John Cena versus Gunther. Who you got, Josh?
I gotta go with Cena. If he loses, oh well. But I can't. I gotta believe. I can't give up. There you go. Never give up.
Yes, never give up, guys. I gotta even the scales though. Gunther for the win. Had to even the scales. I'm sorry, guys. I went with Cena too many times this week. I had to even the scales and go for Gunther at least once. But that brings us to an end on another edition of the Flagship Podcast. What a show today. What a celebration for John Cena that we had today, yesterday, and tonight. We will have one for our watch party. So join us live here, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Romeo will be here. I'll be here. Josh says he'll chime in. And we'll be here to celebrate John Cena's one final
match. Josh, let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they might see you again.
You can follow me, JMPunk321, X and Instagram. You can also follow me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. My name JMPunk321. You can just type that. Give me a sub. I'll also be posting a clip from the John Cena top 10 that we did. I'll be posting it up maybe today. Not too sure yet. And then you'll be doing a review tomorrow.
Yes.
I'll be on for the review tomorrow for Saturday Night Main Event.
There you go. Join us for that and check out all the great content we got on the channel. The preview for Saturday night's main event. Check out the aforementioned top 10 John Cena moments. And of course, thank you for joining us for the Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast, Tru Heel Heat 359. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. For Josh, for Mekz, thank you so much for being our special guest. And for all of you, thank you so much for helping us celebrate John Cena's career today. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. And we are signing off until next time. Goodbye, Cena.